Oh, hello, good day, everyone. Hello. So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this special live stream conference. I'm kind of participating right now. And by the way, this is your host, Operator 214, and I'm honored to have you all here today as we dive into a very important topic regarding the seafarer world in the Philippines. This is the one that we're discussing here on this video conference is the Magna Carta for seafarers. I'm not a participant, of course. I am just only a spectator. I leave the politics behind that. But this is, of course, worth still on discussion. As much as possible, you know me, I try to stay out of politics. But anyway, for those who may not be familiar, the Magna Carta for seafarers is a landmark piece of legislation designed to protect the rights, welfare, and working conditions of Filipino seafarers. It's a game changer for some of us, for those of us who work at sea, addressing issues like fair wages, benefits, legal protections, and overall the well-being of seafarers. Now, today we'll be breaking down what this law means, how it impacts seafarers, and what we can do to ensure its proper implementation. So I encourage everyone to participate on this. So drop your questions, share your insights, and let's have a productive discussion. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome once again, and let's talk about the future of seafarer rights. And of course, this is the main thing why we're attending this one. But do keep in mind, these guys are not exactly just, of course, a personal opinion on mine. These guys are the people who are discussing this is just only discussing it and more like saying their interpretation of the Magna Carta law for seafarers, and they're not exactly good when it comes to what do you call this, answering questions, or they're in any way any capacity to answer those questions. So anyway, let's start, and I'll switch on now the audio for this one. We have arrived quite early from the start of before the conference starts, so it's about at least 15 minutes before the actual conference starts. So there we go. So things are pretty much silent at the moment because everybody is preparing for the oh, great. Okay, but of course, before we begin, there's some propaganda commercials from the Amazon first. Personally, I am not fond of these commercials because it's bland propaganda thing. And out of experience, I had a bad experience from one of their graduates. Of that map thing. I was severe from one of the graduates from those guys because they're proficient on work, yes, but attitude wise on how the way they interact with their fellow seafarers, I could say that graduates from that academy are kind of arrogant and cocky, similar to the ones like in similar to those graduates in PMMI. They were basically bastards when it comes to social relations. But anyway, we're not here to bicker and ridicule those that school and their graduates. It's not about jealousy. I would just like to make it clear, it's not about jealousy. It's not jealousy, but I am just saying that those graduates are mostly those people who come. Their graduates are basically just bad news when working in the workplace. They're proficient, yes, on work, but that doesn't necessarily mean your impression on your impression as a general person is not only on your proficiency of work, but on the way of your social skills. And quite frankly, I don't want to hang out with those kinds of guys because, like I said, they're just basically plain bastards. So for now, right. Okay, so right, they still don't have any audios regarding their conference. So there's also a chat room, chat box here. You could probably see it on my. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you could probably see it. Okay, just some propaganda, propaganda again theme. But that's okay because I think YouTube will not tag me for this one because this is a Tagalog song, so that's okay. Right, so nice, nice. Anyway, on my end, while we wait, I'm also gonna make some what do you call this? Some tweakings on my settings here. Alright, okay, there we go. Nice, nice, nice. So anyway, we've completely prepared this time compared on the previous, compared to the previous, compared to our previous participation on the conference last time. My participation on the previous conference was basically horrible at best because I was preparing things on the last minute. It's so horrible that I had to do an earlier recording or a later recording just to iron out all the bad recording errors or technical issues that I was experiencing during that time. Anyway, yeah. Let's try to hear things out here on what these folks have to say regarding the Magna Carta law for seafarers. By the way, Combined Party List, if I recall correct, they're kind of saying that they're one of the authors of the Magna Carta for seafarers. Okay, so they may be an author of that law, but I'm not exactly sure if they do understand clearly the practical applications of that law to Filipino seafarers. Yeah, in other words, what I meant to say was writing and understanding of what you are writing are two different things. So, okay. So, it's more like, yeah, that's their propaganda song. Let's just, okay, so we're still early. We're still about 8 minutes early before this whole conference starts. And I would just like to check my batteries. Okay, I'm just gonna go oh, okay, that was my mistake. Okay, we have some. Okay, that's the main reason why we're having some issues again. Oh, okay, right. Just give me a second. Right, nice. Okay, I probably have to right, I'm just gonna go with this. Oh, okay, right. So while still waiting, I probably have to check on my YouTube here. I'm still about 8 minutes away. I'm just gonna put on my charger. Incidentally, we're now on low battery status. Yeah, I would love to to... Okay, let's just watch this one. It's more educational, I guess.
Enemy so close, you could see candlelight reflecting in his eyes. At such times, the tunnels descended into shuffling melee, with miners swinging pickaxes, then retreating before the ceilings collapsed in on friend and foe alike. And when they could, they sealed enemy tunnels with grenades or powder barrels. Meanwhile, inside the city, things were deteriorating. During the beginning of the siege, Viennese citizens slipped the lines to trade food with the Ottomans. But Starhemberg stopped that, worrying that it was an avenue for spies. So apart from a few cattle raids by the university students, he effectively locked the citizens of Vienna inside. And despite his
Honestly,
leadership,
I'm more
the
interested
citizens
in
began
listening
losing
my
their way
YouTube
as
daily.
war
There's
They ate household
history,
pets, with
Reddit,
some
and
sardonic
listening
wit renaming
propaganda
cats
messages from
root
Amazon.
rabbits.
Bawat problema, may solusyon.
Okay, we'll just probably have to cut this, you know, our mini viewing of our Mozilla Firefox in about... Okay, it's almost done. So we'll just wait. Okay, we'll just have to wait about this because the conference is almost starting now.
Noong 1960, itinatag ni Captain Gregorio S. Oca ang Associated Marine Officers and Seamen's Union of the Philippines o AMOSUP dahil nakita niya ang pangangailangan ng mga kasamahan niyang Pilipinong mandaragat.
Lahat sila ay malayo sa pamilya, malapit sa peligro, mag-isang humaharap sa lahat ng hamon.
Kaya ginawang misyon ng
Okay,
AMOSUP,
so we'll just listen to this one.
ng mga marino sa gitna ng kahit anumang bagyo.
Holy fuck, that was Edward, well-known Filipino vlogger. I don't know, I'm not a I don't sympathize with AMSO as an organization. Well, they were competent as an organization. They're more on, you know, helping out the seafarers when it comes to welfare, but I don't know, there's a lot of bad stuff being said about them again. I mean, of course, I'm neutral. I have nothing against, despite having some bad, you know, experience from their graduates on board. I'm not, well, I don't hate them as a whole, as an organization. I just don't like the fellow graduates being counted on board when I work as a seafarer because, like I said earlier, most of the seafarers were arrogant and cocky bastard sons of bitches when you know, in the workplace. But anyway, since this is you know, since this is a video conference, we're not exactly participating, we're just observing. We'll leave the rest, all of this chat, you know, to the on how we'll just leave it up to them, of course.
Inilunsad ng AMOSUP ang slap chest.
Right.
Dito ay maaari silang gumamit ng pribilihiyo tulad ng pagbili ng grocery supplies at mga appliances na pwedeng ibawas sa kanilang monthly allotment na walang karagdagang interes.
Right.
Meron ding retirement fund at legal affairs support ang AMOSUP. Binuo ang Provident Fund para may tiyak na pondong mahuhugot ang mga miyembro para sa anumang pangangailangan. Ito rin ay nagsisilbing savings fund na maaaring i-withdraw pagdating ng kanilang retirement. May legal team din na nakaantabay sakaling magkaproblema ang
Okay, so we're viewing right now as well here. We have a chat window on the conference. It's you can see it above my head.
Tinitiyak din ng AMOSUP na nananatiling world-class
So yeah,
at edukasyon ng ating mandaragat.
okay, let's just hear it out on what these guys have to tell when it comes to Magna Carta. Anyway, I hope they don't get emotionally charged on that discussion because these people, the ones present here on this, you know, the ones here present on this conference is just basically they're just saying it and they're just saying this on based on the best interpretation of the recently signed law.
ng industriya sa automation, digitalization at decarbonization.
Katulad ng pag-aaral ng blockchain, robotics at drone technology.
Para naman sa mga established na ang career bilang seafarer, andito ang Seaman's Training Center or ASTC para tulungang i-upgrade ang kanilang technical skills, palawigin ang kanilang expertise, at
Yeah, it's kind of amazing on how they over-glorify seafaring profession here. I myself am amazed on how they glorify this one. They kind of, they kind of over-glorify the propaganda things and making the general public think that seafarers are in par or in line with airline pilots. But in reality, there's a big difference. Seafaring job is mostly a technical low-skill job. I'll be honest. It's very, very similar to construction-related jobs. It's not that professional as what the public what propaganda says. It's not like the job where it's just it's not like what pilots do. So there's a big difference. Airline pilots. Now I'm just saying this because I myself is well, I'm not saying, I couldn't say if I'm previous or former airline student or a pilot student. But anyway, despite that, I'm still a seafarer. I'm 100% seafarer. I'm 100% seafarer myself, and I even have vlogs on my regarding my experiences on oh god, I always had my experiences on my work as a seafarer. So I don't think anybody out here would question, anybody watching this would question my if I'm a seafarer or not. Okay, I guess this would be their last plug-in before the actual content starts. It's already 1:30 p.m. So I expect that the meeting here would be starting at this time. Right. Honestly, I don't really care about the party list system also in the Philippines. It's just a 9 for me. And for all I care, anyway, I'm not gonna get political, of course. I'm politically neutral, but it's still a question if this party list system in the Philippines is even that effective at all. Okay, nice. Nice. It's already starting now.
101, a webinar series brought to you by Kabayan Party List.
Okay,
this
right.
Webinar aims to shed light on the critical challenges facing the Philippine maritime industry. Challenges that could threaten our position as the world's leading supplier of seafarers. For those who are joining us via Zoom, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. And for those who are tuning in via Facebook Live, magandang hapon din po sa inyo lahat. Actually, you can share this live so that mas marami pong nood ng live natin at mas marami pa pong makaalam dito sa webinar natin.
Okay,
This webinar is a 4-part series webinar which we started last January 24 with the topic Rights and Obligations of Seafarers. Then we followed it with last January 31 with the topic Obligations of Manning Agencies and Roles of Government Agencies for the Seafarers. Today and this afternoon, we are on our third episode, and we will tackle about the challenges of the maritime industry and measures to address the ambulance chasing. Isang madugo pero karapat-dapat na.
Well, if you think about it, ambulance chasing is a form of fraud, but since technically in the Philippines there is no such thing as anti-fraudulent law, they have to come up with different terms. So they can just call this one ambulance chasing, or basically, to simply put, it's basically what do you call this in the Western world? Insurance fraud. Yeah, ambulance chasing is like an insurance fraud.
Or the Joint Manning Group, and of course Filipino Association for Mariners Employment, or FAME. We would also like to thank our media partners.
Yeah, okay, so we could have that whole
Maritime
picture here.
Association of the Philippines and Marino World. Of course, We would also like to thank our social media partner, Magsaysay Center for Hospitality and Culinary Arts. For those who are watching via Facebook Live,
Yep,
what
well,
you're
I'm not
seeing right
exactly
now
watching
is
in
our
Facebook.
Zoom ID and passcode if you want to join us via Zoom, if you're having a hard time, watching the Facebook Live. And the registration link as well is, I think, will be posted on the comment section. You can register. At the end of the session, makaka-receive po kayo ng certificate. All right?
Yeah, certificate, which basically is,
I think,
it doesn't have any practical application, I'll be honest.
meron ako mga nababasa kanina. Pwede po bang maka-receive ng certificate kapag nakapanood ng episode 1? Pwede po. So the link for the certificate link for the episode 1 and 2.
Well, I'm gonna skip out with the
as well.
certificate because I'm
For those who
already
have,
participating
joined us
here
for
on
episodes
the
1 and 2
videos, so I'm just gonna,
episode 3,
consider this
maya-maya lang po
part
ipopost
of
na natin yung ating
one of my
certificate
vlogs,
link.
video blogs for as as a
We
VTuber.
will start with the prayer and then followed by the singing of the Philippine national anthem.
Oh yeah, this is also the standard practice on. I'm going to cut that out because I thought it was the national anthem of the Philippines. My bad. Sorry. When it comes to live, you kinda don't control things. And I don't want to record this because this will tag my YouTube ID tag, so we don't want to get into trouble. But after this, we could probably be, we could, what do you call this? We could open up our audio. We'll just have to wait till this song finishes. And of course, another propaganda material from one of the shipping companies in the Philippines, if I recall correct. This is Hartman. To be honest, I don't know this agency. It's an agency in the Philippines, but I have little to no information about them. The only thing I do know is that they deploy Filipino seafarers for quite some time now. Okay, right. This is gonna be a very, very long conference, so okay. Okay, we'll just wait up. Okay, finally it's over. So I'm just gonna switch back the audio now. Give me a second here. Okay, nice.
Isang awit ng Pilipinas.
Okay, there we go. Nice.
Alright,
That is
welcome
the
back to
Philippine
our
national
program. For
anthem.
those who are
And
just
now,
tuning in via
on to our
Facebook
main
Live or
program.
this Facebook page, welcome to our Magna Carta of Filipino Seafarers 101 webinar series. We are now on our third episode, which we will be talking
Yeah.
about the challenges of the maritime industry and measures to address ambulance chasing. For decades, Filipino seafarers have been the preferred choice of the global shipping industry, known for their skill, resilience, and professionalism. However,
All
mounting
right.
concerns such as compliance with international standards,
Okay.
training and educational gaps, and the persistent issue of ambulance chasing pose significant threats to this standing. These challenges not only impact the competitiveness of our seafarers, but also the sustainability of the entire maritime sector. Today, we will engage with key industry leaders to analyze these pressing concerns and explore solutions that will strengthen the Philippines' maritime workforce. Together, we aim to reinforce our commitment to maintaining the highest standards in seafarer training, protection, and welfare,
Mm.
ensuring that Filipino
Right.
seafarers remain the top choice in the global maritime industry. This
Right.
episode, we are being joined by Congressman Ron Salo, our main speaker. And also, we will be hearing messages from Mr. Gerardo Borromeo and Admin Arnel Ignacio. At this point,
Oh,
let me
okay.
introduce you our first speaker.
Wow. Didn't know
Our
Arnel
first speaker
Ignacio
is
was.
Mr.
By the way,
Gerardo A.
Arnel Ignacio
Borromeo,
is basically a movie
Chief
star in the
Executive Officer
Philippines.
of Philippine Transmarine Carriers,
Oh, PTC. Yeah.
PTC Group of Companies. He has been responsible for the development and implementation of the company's strategic initiatives and business interests in shipping and maritime services, real estate development, energy and fuel distribution, healthcare, and aviation. He serves as a chairman of the board of directors of ACM, Homes and Finlay Development Corporation. Mr.
Right.
Borromeo's visionary perspective has led him to serve in various leadership positions in both local and international organizations. He continues to be at the
Okay.
forefront of industry engagement and collaboration, positioning the PTC Group
I probably have
to
to change
contribute
this one.
significantly to national economic development. A
Okay.
graduate of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT, in the USA, where he earned his
Oh,
bachelor's
okay.
and master's degrees.
So he's basically an
Mr. Borromeo
engineer.
represents MIT as the regional chair and educational counselor for the Philippines, while also serving as a member
Well,
of
we
the
also have
executive
an
board of
MIT here in
MIT's
the Philippines,
Sloan
by the way.
School of
But it's
Management.
not Massachusetts. It's more
Although
like
Mr. Borromeo
Mapua
is not able
Institute
to
of
join
Technology.
for today's
That's our
live,
counterpart
we will still be
in
hearing from him
MIT in
via
the United
recorded
States.
video. Ladies and gentlemen,
They also
Mr.
do
Gerardo
specialize also in
Borromeo.
fields of engineering and science.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Congressman Salo, for
Oh,
the kind
Gerard.
invitation to share some thoughts at this third in a series of discussions
All right.
on the Magna Carta for Seafarers, a law that you championed, which has now come to fruition. As the enabling law for the Maritime Labor Convention, the Magna
Okay.
Carta is an important document that strengthens the country's ability to serve and protect our Filipino global maritime professionals. Our GMPs are the pride and joy of the Philippines and the true heart and soul of shipping. They move the world through their dedicated work on board the world's fleet. As you discuss the Magna Carta this afternoon, one issue that has perennially been on everybody's mind is the matter of ambulance chasing. It is a topic that continues to be a major concern for the entire maritime industry. It is important for all our industry stakeholders to fully appreciate the strategic importance of the shipping industry.
I
One
know.
that moves well over 80% of world trade, with the Filipino GMP at the very center, serving the world as the seafarer of choice. Take a moment to consider the value of a ship, which will easily run in the tens to hundreds of millions of dollars. Consider the value of cargo transported, which also runs in the tens and hundreds of millions of dollars.
If you
The
think about it,
Filipinos are responsible
the one
for
he's
the
referring to
operation
is they're more
maintenance
concerned
of
of
such
the
valuable
the
assets
pockets
and
of
goods reflects
principals
one
rather than the
important
welfare of
The ship owners
seafarers.
have put
And
their
if you think
trust
about
and
it
faith
on a more
in
general
Filipino
perspective, those are just
GMPs
only
to
pocket
ensure
change
global
for
trade
ship
remains
owners.
intact
The main reason why they kind of discussing this one is because, of course, insurance claims do cost a lot, and the companies are more, or the ship owners are more concerned about losing their money because a lot of seafarers are kind of claiming disability benefits. Benefits that, of course, most ship owners are not willing or reluctant to award to seafarers who suffered critical injuries, like being their appendages and their limbs being cut off, something like that.
Chasing is not new.
Anyway, let's listen.
Over at least the past 15 years, maybe more. The proper settlement of outstanding issues is always a matter of trust. Trust in the system, trust in the process, and trust in the fairness of the outcomes, particularly outcomes that will ensure that the GMP is the one that truly benefits from any form of compensation resulting from any unfortunate situation that befalls the
I don't know about that. They can say a lot of flowery words, but it's still, it's still it doesn't change what people think about it.
Instead of getting the help they need, victims of ambulance chasing end up worse off, dragged into unnecessary legal battles that damage their reputation and compromise job opportunities. Meanwhile, ship owners lose
I kind of find that doubtful. Who do you think benefits from that all in all? I don't think the seafarers benefit from it. I think
were ultimately reversed by the Supreme Court of the Philippines. Unfortunately, all this money that had been paid out could no longer be recovered.
See, they themselves are being sighing it for themselves. If the seafarer loses their case, the ship owners are more concerned about their money, getting their money back. And they want to ensure that they can get their money back from any seafarer who sues them for labor rights.
Opportunities for Filipino GMPs as companies hesitate.
They might put it, of course, a ton of flowery words, but that's the general perspective of this, that kind of law.
Is a major step forward in protecting GMPs.
It's kind of funny and ironic that they say that the Magna Carta law was to protect Filipino seafarers' rights, but if you think about it, it does not protect Filipino seafarers. It's more like a reversed.
Not enough.
It's kind of like a reversed. What do you think? Shall we say it's more like a reverse thing that's happening.
Fully educated on their rights and on their obligations. Both elements are key to a successful career.
They all say blah blah blah. They want workers' rights protections, but if you think about it, if you replay this video, you could really say that the person speaking right now here, they're more interested of the best interest of the ship owners and how they can get their money back after a disastrous court case regarding seafarers disability claims, or insurance for short.
Thank you, and I wish you a productive
anyway, I'm just saying this as a common seafarer, a common man.
That was Mr. Gerardo A. Borromeo, the Chief Executive Officer of the Philippine Transmarine Carriers Group. At this point, before we proceed to our webinar discussion proper, we will be showing you a video by National Maritime Polytechnic about ambulance chasing. Let's watch this.
Propaganda stuff telling that the seafarers should not sue their employers for labor violations. I don't know, but that's what the propaganda hasn't started yet, but I already know what's it's gonna end out with or turn out with.
Isa po akong marino na naaksidente at naputulan ng paa habang nagtatrabaho sa barko. Importante po sa akin ang aking trabaho sapagkat ako lamang ang inaasahan ng pamilya ko sa Pilipinas. Ngunit dahil po sa aksidenteng ito, hindi na ako muling makakabalik sa trabaho. Meron pong lumapit sa akin na nag-alok ng tulong mula sa isang law firm. Hinikayat po niya akong gumawa ng aksyong legal at maghabol sa employer ko upang makuha ko ang kinaukulang claims mula sa kanila para sa aksidenteng natamo ko.
Which is a standard procedure if you got amputated or you got your limbs chopped off.
Umusad naman po ang kaso at ako'y nanalo, ngunit sa huli, hindi ko natanggap ang halagang pinangako. Dahil sa kabuuang legal fees na kailangan kong bayaran, para may panalo ang kaso, wala nang natira sa akin.
I see.
Nagpatong-patong na din ang mga utang ko sa
So what he's making a point here is that instead of receiving his money, the law firm kind of made up some excuses about his legal fees, and he kind of ended up being in the pockets of that law firm, I think.
Nakalulungkot isipin na may mga taong mapagkunwari sa mga tulong na binibigay nila.
The lawyers, they're designed to,
para sa kanila.
you know, designed to be manipulative.
Sana ay hindi ako nagpadala sa pangbubuyo ng mga tulad nila. Bagkus ay dumulog sana ako sa otorisadong mga ahensya upang matulungan akong makuha ang nararapat.
I don't know about that.
Ang ay isang halimbawa ng ambulance chasing. Ito ay ang hindi etikal na gawain ng paghingi o pagkuha ng anumang uri ng legal na aksyon ng isang abogado, personal man o sa pamamagitan ng ahente sa isang individual o sa kanilang tagapagmana.
Mahalagang malaman at maunawaan ng mga marino ang mga batas, tuntunin at regulasyon ukol sa kanilang kapakanan at proteksyon. Ilan sa mga ito ay ang sumusunod. Nakasaad sa Public Act 10706 or the Seafarers Protection Act of 2015 na ipinagbabawal ang ambulance chasing. Ang sino bang lumabag kasama ang mga kasabwat nito ay may penalidad na hindi bababa sa 50,000 pesos at hindi hihigit sa 100,000 pesos.
Basically pocket charge.
Maaaring makulong ng 1 hanggang 2 taon o maaring pagkakakulong at pagbayad ng kaukulang penalidad.
Mahalaga rin malaman ng bawat marino ang nilalaman ng kanilang kontrata. Base sa POEA Standard Employment Contract for Seafarers, ang isang kontrata ay tatagal lamang sa pinagkasunduang durasyon ng seafarer at kanilang employer na hindi hihigit sa 11 buwan.
Okay, right.
Ang ng kontrata ay depende sa
That's of course the standard practice nowadays internationally. It's something to do about the MLC. So, a seafarer's stay on the contract is just only limited to 11 months, no more than that. Back before this was implemented, there were some seafarers who were trapped on board the ship for years. Like some of them, there's some crazy tales going on that, you know, some seafarers were even trapped as far as 4 years on the ship. Yeah, seriously. But that was, of course, more like a wives' style on Filipino seafarers. But 4 years, my God, that's a long time. The world has already moved on by the time you get out of that ship, and the world may have already forgotten you because you're 4 years missing in the Philippines.
Para maka-avail ng conciliation mediation services ng DOLE, maaaring magpasa ng request for assistance sa naturang opisina ng POEA o sa Regional or Field or Provincial or Philippine Overseas Labor Officer Polo ng DOLE.
Okay, good luck with that.
Kung ikaw naman ay may hinaing o reklamo kaakibat sa iyong trabaho, narito ang mga pwede mong gawin. Lumapit sa iyong pinuno o head of department kung saan ka nakatalaga at ipaliwanag ang iyong problema.
Alright.
Pagbigay alam ang iyong hinaing sa pamamagitan ng sulat at ilagay din ang araw at oras kung kailan mo ito gustong dinggin. Maaari rin lumapit sa kapwa marinong Pilipino na may pinakamataas na ranggo na kasama sa barko.
But unfortunately, most of the Filipinos who have high-ranking Filipino ship officers on board, basically they're more interested on their reputation in sucking up to the management rather than hear out your complaint.
At kung walang nakuhang kasiyasiyang resulta, ang marino ay maaaring umapila sa management ng kumpanya o sa Philippine Overseas Labor Office or Consular Officer Overseas.
Okay.
Kung ang iyong employment ay sakop ng iniiral na Collective Bargaining Agreement or CBA, ang anumang hindi kasiyasiyang resulta kaakibat ng hiniing ay itataas sa voluntary arbitration. At kung hindi naman, isangguni ang hinaing sa Maritime Industry Labor Arbitration Council or MILA bago isagawa ang anumang forum.
Okay.
Proseso ng pag-file ng kaso sa
Okay, that's kind of a bit complicated for even for a normal person, not only just a seafarer. That's more like the process that involves court cases regarding the employer and the seafarer.
Lumapit sa top.
Only see one who's out of those four. I could only point out one of those things that are trustworthy. The rest, they basically might sold your case out. Anyway, let's go.
Para po sa mga kapapasok lang sa Zoom at para sa mga ngayon pa lang nakakapanood sa atin sa Facebook Live, magandang hapon po. This is Kabayan Party List Magna Carta of Filipino Seafarers 101 webinar series. We are now on episode 3.
Okay,
we are talking about challenges of the maritime industry and measures to address ambulance chasing. At this point, I will now introduce our keynote speaker for this session. Our resource speaker for this session is no other than Congressman Ron P. Salo, the representative of Kabayan Party List in the 17th, 18th, and the 19th Congress. He was born in Binmalay, Pangasinan. He finished his Bachelor of Arts in Psychology at UP Diliman, where he graduated cum laude. He also obtained his law degree at the same university. He obtained his Master's in International Law at the University College London as British Chevening Scholar, where he graduated with merit. He obtained his Executive Doctorate in Educational Leadership at the Graduate School of Public and Development Management at the Development Academy of the Philippines.
Okay. I guess we got a lot of pleasantries about this one.
LaSalle College of Law. He is currently a member of the board of Philippine State College of Aeronautics. He is also a member of the
State College. I know that school. It's a school for pilots,
as its
airline
president. He is
pilots.
also the primary authors of the landmark legislation such as creating the Department of Migrant Workers Law, Universal Healthcare Law, Salt Revitalization Law, and the recently enacted Magna Carta of Filipino Seafarers. His notable bills in the 19th Congress are the Magna Carta of Filipino Migrant Workers and the Migrant Workers Relations Commission. He is married to Dr. Jewel Gay Arsalo, and they are blessed with 4 children, Glory, Elijah, Jacob, and Olive. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm round of applause to our resource speaker for this afternoon, Congressman Ron Salo. Congressman, good afternoon.
Nice.
Maraming salamat sa iyo, RJ. Maraming salamat din po sa lahat po ng mga kasama po natin dito sa Zoom, as well as those who join us via FB Live. Maraming salamat po sa pagkakataon na binigay po ninyo. Tayo po ay mag-aaral po muli ngayong hapon na ito tungkol po dito sa topic po natin, Challenges of the Maritime Industry and Measures to Address Ambulance Chasing. Nagpapasalamat po tayo kay CEO Gerardo Borromeo sa napakagandang at malalim po na ni-share po nila sa atin kanina. Ngayon din, papasalamat po tayo doon sa pinakita po ninyo na video tackling about ambulance chasing. So ngayon, pag-uusapan po natin some of the challenges. Hindi po ito comprehensive na diskusyon ng mga challenges na kinaharap po ng maritime industry po natin. Hindi po natin sinasabi na ito na po lahat yon. But we will be mentioning some of those na kadalasan din po nating nababanggit. So muli, maraming salamat po sa pagkakataong ito. Alam po natin, ulitin po natin, binanggit na po natin ito noong nakaraan, that Filipino seafarers are the lifeblood of the global maritime industry, making up nearly 85%
we're just basically a lot, like a ton of Filipino seafarers, one of the largest populations of seafarers.
Systematic challenges ranging from quality of training,
seafarers are no special.
economic sustainability, and fraudulent issuance of some tier certifications. Today, we will examine these challenges and discuss how Republic Act 12021 strengthens government policies to protect the welfare and rights of our seafarers, ensuring their continued competitiveness, employability, and dignity in the maritime sector. Ulitin po natin yung mga objectives that we discussed last time. What are the objectives of this particular law, Magna Carta Filipino Seafarers? Briefly, the objectives of the Magna Carta are comprehensive. First, sabi po natin, it codifies the rights and obligations of Filipino seafarers and domestic seafarers. Second, It aims to implement the MLC 2006 as amended and the
Right.
STCW Convention for Filipino Overseas Seafarers,
Okay.
and identify the extent of their application to our Filipino domestic seafarers. This law also institutes comprehensive measures that will enhance education, cadetship, training, and practice of Filipino seafarers to upgrade their qualifications and ensure competency, competitiveness, and world-class quality. Through this law,
So
we
pretty
will
much
also
a
align
general
and
approach
institutionalize
on
existing policies
that
and
issue.
rules of the Commission on Higher Education and the Education of Maritime Students and Training of Cadets. Na ngayon, under this particular law, marina na po yung primarily may jurisdiction when it comes to maritime education.
Okay.
And, of course, marina on the qualification and safety of both domestic and overseas seafarers.
Okay.
The DOLE on labor standards and protection of domestic seafarers, the DMW on labor standards and protection of overseas seafarers.
Right.
They also aim to afford greater protection to seafarers from nefarious practices that threaten their livelihood and compromise their well-being, promote the safety of the general public who depend on the skills and competences of Filipino seafarers, and of course, to identify the roles of various government agencies and key stakeholders in order for us to be able to achieve the objectives effectively and efficiently by the proposed measure.
Okay, go on.
Now, ano po ba yung mga sinasabi po natin na madalas, ito po yung mga challenges na kinaharap po ng industreng ito.
Right.
The maritime industry remains a pillar of the Philippine economy with more than 400,000 Filipino seafarers deployed worldwide.
Yeah,
And we
deployed.
hope
But that
this
doesn't
particular
exactly
year,
include the
2025,
numbers on how
sure,
many
mas marami
seafarers
po
are currently
ang madideploy na mga
on
kababayan po
vacation in the
natin.
Philippines, including
However,
myself.
several challenges threaten the long-term competitiveness and employment security of our seafarers. May mga ilang pong na-identify po tayo based po doon sa mga hearings na kinandak po natin noon, as well as some documents and based on the things that are being discussed amongst the stakeholders in the industry. First, there is a competency concern due to inconsistencies in maritime education and training. So, first challenge, yung binabanggit po nila, may competency concern. Competency ng mga seafarers po natin.
Right.
Pangalawa, there's an integrity issue involving fraudulent credentials. Third,
That's
there are
basically
bureaucratic
certificates that
inefficiencies
came from Recto
that delay the
Gapo.
processing of certifications.
Or Calao.
And of course, the delivery of the services to our seafarers.
Okay.
Four, there's a perceived lack of government support for training institutions. The perception that the Philippine legal system is unfair, which discourages ship owners from hiring Filipino seafarers. Nakakakibat po nito, yung binabanggit po nila na risk, mga
challenges.
kakibat po na hidden costs of employing a Filipino seafarer. Number 6, yung binabanggit po nila, decarbonization and digitalization, which would require upskilling in new technologies. Number 7, of course, the ambulance chasing, where nabanggit natin kanina, napanood po natin, and we will discuss it lengthily as well, where unscrupulous individuals take advantage of seafarers seeking compensation for certain injuries that they met on board or while at work.
It's not unscrupulous behavior. It's in between the law firm and the seafarers.
Certification, legal protections, and government support, ensuring that Filipino seafarers remain globally competitive and protected from exploitation. So, di-discuss natin yung mga binanggit po natin. First is competency of seafarers.
Yeah, okay.
The competency of Filipino seafarers has been questioned due to inconsistent maritime education and training standards. The European Maritime Safety Agency, or EMSA, has repeatedly flagged issues in the Philippine compliance with the STCW Convention, raising concerns about variations in curriculum and training quality among maritime schools, outdated training facilities and simulators, lack of qualified instructors to properly train seafarers, and if not addressed, these issues could jeopardize the employment of Filipino seafarers, particularly those on the EU flag ships, and
European flag
thousands
ships,
of jobs,
European Union,
billions in remittances. So, how does the Magna Carta Filipino Seafarers address this particular challenge?
Yeah, how does Magna Carta fit in this situation?
Of education to Marina. Marina is now the single authority over maritime education, training, and certification.
Right.
So the entirety, education, training, and certifications, well, they are professionals on the practice of your profession, isa na po yung mag-handle po nito, which is Marina.
Okay.
So this is one of the innovations or interventions under this particular law of the Magna Carta.
Okay.
This means that we will come up with uniform standards across all maritime schools and training centers, strict compliance with the TCW requirements, and standardized qualifications for instructors. There will also be comprehensive training standards because the law mandates strict competency requirements to ensure that all seafarers meet global industry standards.
Okay.
We'll also have harmonization of policies, that there will be close coordination between Marina and CHED, DOLE, and DMW to ensure that seafarer education and certification align with international standards, preventing inconsistencies in training programs. So these reforms secure the global employability of Filipino seafarers by guaranteeing that they meet the highest standards of competency. This particular matter will be discussed.
If you think about it, it's pretty more generalized thing.
Webinar series po natin. So next Friday,
there's a lot of words here,
all
but
about training and education. And
mostly it's more like
from
wordplay.
Marina, no less, will be the one to discuss this matter to make sure that we will be able to understand exactly how they intend to implement the Magna Carta, considering the mandate that has been given to them. So we go to the second challenge. The second challenge is, binanggit po natin kanina, the integrity of seafarer credentials. EMSA noted that the discovery of fraudulent seafarers' identification record books has damaged the credibility of Filipino seafarers. So these problems threaten
I highly doubt that a single single book would damage the entirety of the integrity and competency of Filipino seafarers. I think they're just over exaggerating this one. But yes, there are indeed some identified that counterfeit SRIBs or seafarer books also. It's already known publicly, of course,
documents
the existence of like
seafarers.
SRIBs.
So crew competence certification and verification under Section 68, Marina is now responsible for strict verification while competency certificates. Every seafarer must hold a valid certificate of competency issued by Marina, and the certificate must confirm that the seafarer meets all service, age, and qualification requirements. Also, there's a strengthened monitoring of training institutions. Maritime schools must adhere to internationally recognized training standards to prevent the issuance of fraudulent certificates. And digitalized certification system, we hope that this particular matter will be implemented in full by Marina. To have a secure centralized database that will be created to track all issued certificates, making it harder to produce fake documents. So these measures will restore definitely the confidence in Filipino seafarers' qualifications and protect the integrity of their credentials. And, of course, a third challenge is the bureaucratic inefficiencies. Seafarers often face long delays and inefficiencies when securing and renewing certifications, licenses, and employment documents. These bureaucratic hurdles prevent them from deploying on time, leading to missed job opportunities and financial hardships. Common issues include slow processing times at Marina and other agencies, outdated administrative systems that cause unnecessary delays. There's also red tape in securing employment contracts, visas, and clearances. And how does the Magna Carta Filipino Seafarers
basically a lot of cogs are needed to make that machinery work.
And licensing process to ensure that all processes comply with international best practices. There's also digital platforms are used to ensure faster and more efficient processing. As for DMW, DMW is required to ensure that employment contracts, manning licenses, and accreditations are processed efficiently. For the DFA to prioritize passport applications for seafarers to reduce administrative bottlenecks. DOLE and PCG to enforce compliance with international maritime labor standards. And O1 PAO to provide legal and welfare assistance to help seafarers navigate employment-related disputes. By reducing bureaucratic delays, These measures ensure that seafarers can deploy faster with fewer obstacles. But of course, isa po sa nabanggit din po sa akin ni Attorney Iris, ang chairman po ng ALMA, and of course, because this particular matter affects the readiness of our seafarers. Sometimes, ang isa po sa concern po natin, yung issuance po ng mga visas po nila. Sapagkat, medyo yung bansa po natin, yung passport po kasi natin, like some other passports in other countries, yung matatawag po natin na strong passports, hindi po nila kailangan ng visa pagpunta po ng ibang bansa. Sa atin, hindi po ganun karami po yung visa-free para sa mga Pilipino.
Yeah, there's about only 17 countries who offer visa-free for Filipinos.
In order for us
the rest of the 200 countries out there require a visa for Filipinos.
Sa atin, yung delay po ng issuance po ng visas. But this particular issuance of visas, syempre hindi po hawak po ng Pilipino po ito. Hindi po hawak po ng Philippine government.
Yeah, it's basically on the that falls under to which specific country the seafarer is going at.
Unlike po ng ibang mga passports ng ibang bansa, ibang nationalities, na for example, yung strongest passport, I understand Singapore, ang nabibilang po dyan, Singapore, Japan, and other European countries.
Yeah, but Southeast Asian countries like the Philippines, we're not exactly part of that list.
Countries.
But we still have the list, part of the list of the weakest passports.
Medyo kaunti lang po yung kaya po natin napuntahan. So I hope, kapag gumanda rin po, ganda-ganda po yung ekonomiya ng Pilipinas, and lalo pong umayos po yung ating ekonomiya, ay makakaroon din po tayo ng opportunity katulad po ng itinatamasa po ng ibang bansa. And fourth challenge is perceived lack of government support. The Philippine government relies heavily on private institutions for maritime education and training. However, many maritime schools lack financial support to upgrade their facilities, hire qualified instructors, and comply with international training standards. The lack of government intervention results in training facilities that do not meet global standards, limited access to scholarships and financial assistance for aspiring
because those are private businesses if you might think about it. And what are the main goals of private businesses? There are only two main goals. One, if it's legal. The second is how to make money. So everything about the rest is not part of their priorities. They're mostly money-making institutions.
To make training more accessible. There will be financial assistance as well for cadetship programs, as the law mandates affordable shipboard training fees, and in order to prevent excessive costs.
Really? I kind of find that hard to believe at that time.
Marina may establish incentives for MHCIs to develop training facilities, such as simulators or training ships. This will help MHCI to meet the evolving needs of the maritime industry and ensure that seafarers receive top-notch training to stay competitive globally. So isa po ito sa matatanungin po natin sa Marina sa next session po natin.
Yeah, the fourth and final session of Magna Carta.
Manning agencies under Section 85. An incentive system which recognizes outstanding ship owners, manning agencies, and other stakeholders who uphold seafarers' rights may also be established. Recognition is based on exceptional compliance with RA number 12021, fostering a culture of respect and responsibility within the maritime industry. And next challenge is perception that the Philippine legal system is unfair. Some foreign ship owners
it is unfair. Even the Magna Carta law is unfair.
Because they hesitate to hire Filipino seafarers due to belief that the Philippine legal system favors claimants in disputes. While seafarers,
in other words, the ship owners are more concerned that on losing their money. That they don't want people, claiming money on them because they just don't like any other businesses. They don't like workers claiming their benefits. It's a bad thing for them.
They usually call that the hidden cost. Attendant employing a Filipino seafarer. Kasi kapag nagkaroon po ng kaso, ang tingin po nila kagad, nakikita po nila ng mga ship owners ay unfair yung system. this is one
it's
of the reasons
unfair
I may
because
share
they're
it with you.
clearly it's not
Minsan po,
fair or unfair. It's more like they have a
why are we
clear
so passionate
violation
about
of
this
workers'
particular matter?
rights.
Itong
And the reason
Magna
why
Carta
it
Filipino
is being
Seafarers
awarded to
pinapasa pa
the
natin
seafarer
natin.
is because there was a
Because
clear
someone shared to
violation
me,
of it.
a
That's it.
Filipino who is the one managing
It's not about
yung
getting a
kanilang,
money or not. It's about who's
hiring
right or
sa
wrong.
isang bansa po, particularly, if I may mention,
And they kind of
Singapore.
dislike
Singaporean
that.
po yung kanyang employer. And during those discussions, nilapitan po niya ako in one of the events. Sabi po niya sa akin, kung salo kailangan po talaga nating ma-address po ito. Kasi ang perception po sa Singapore ng mga employers, because the Philippine legal system is really perceived to be unfair. Dahil kapag nag-file daw po yung isang seafarer, ang automatic na mga tao dito, kikilingan po siya. So, regardless.
So what is fair on their standards?
Mali siya.
I mean, we're not basing this on the point of view of employers. They're basing it on the point of view of seafarers. Besides, that's why we have this law in the first place. This is to protect Filipino workers, not to protect the foreign ship owners. So on their definitions of fair, it's kind of an icky perception. If you think about it, if they what is they want to know what is fair. But if you think about it, what is fair? The point of view as seafarers or the point of view of ship owners?
Is being prevented at the time to hire Filipino seafarers. Kaya sabi po niya sa atin, gawan niyo po ng paraan po ito para ma-encourage ko rin po ang aking employer to hire Filipinos. And I hope
the point of view of their employee is basically to save money. It's not about hiring, it's about saving money, if you think about it. And by the way, that's the main purpose, I guess, or the main idea of it on this law. I think this law is mostly just to protect ship owners and protect them on their point of view of what is fair. But they never ask what is fair on the point of view of a Filipino seafarer, for a common man or a common seafarer. They never ask it that part.
To ensure that disputes are resolved quickly and fairly, reducing legal costs for both seafarers and employers.
I don't believe that on that
And what's
part.
Other challenge, yung tinatawag po nila about decarbonization and digitalization. The maritime industry is undergoing a technological transformation with a push for low carbon shipping and automation. Filipino seafarers therefore must adapt to new skills and technologies or risk losing competitiveness.
I don't think digitization and decarbonization has an effect on a common Filipino seafarer. That's way too what do you call this, far-fetched, if you point it out.
Changing traditional seafaring roles. So, kailangan po natin na mga seafarers would undergo upskilling to keep up with these advancements. Share ko lang po yung text din po sa atin, message po sa atin.
The second paragraph here refers to the ship owners. It's mostly not directly to the Filipino seafarers itself, because this is way ahead on any Filipino workers. It does not even, it's not even related on the labor issues of Filipino seafarers, if you're going to improve their labor conditions or not. This is just the second paragraph here. This is mostly the concern of the employers.
Fuels, as I mentioned a while ago, remote monitoring and control, and the potential for smaller crew sizes due to autonomous vessel advancements, all requiring seafarers to develop digital literacy and special skills to manage these new technologies effectively. So what are the key points about these trends? For example, with respect to automation and AI, ships are increasingly utilizing automated systems and artificial intelligence for tasks like navigation, route planning, and machinery monitoring, requiring seafarers to become proficient in operating and interpreting data from these systems. So data analytics, advanced data analysis tools are being used to optimize operations, predict maintenance issues, and improve safety, demanding seafarers to understand data interpretation and decision-making based on insights. With respect to cybersecurity, ships become more interconnected. Cybersecurity is crucial in order to protect against cyber attacks, necessitating training for seafarers on cyber hygiene practices. We also have concerns on sustainability.
Cyber hygiene? Is there even such a thing? You should say cybersecurity. There's no such thing as cyber hygiene. Who the hell even wrote that?
Require seafarers to understand and operate new propulsion systems. And we also have remote operations and monitoring, where remote monitoring control of ship systems are becoming more common, allowing for real-time troubleshooting and support from shore-based teams. And also for smaller crews, with automation taking over certain tasks, the need for smaller crew sizes might arise, demanding increased versatility and multitasking capabilities from our seafarers.
I don't think seafarers are equipped for that, and besides, there are specially equipped people who handle that kinds of thing. It's called IT, and you can't merge the IT to the skills of a seafarer. It's basically two different stuff. So I don't think that's that part is kind of irrelevant regarding the improving the labor conditions of Filipino seafarers. And it's more like a burden. It's more like a requirement rather than improvement of labor. Labor. What do you call this? Labor workplace.
Provide some avenues, pero
whoever wrote that, I think that person is out of touch of reality.
Obligation to make sure that he is updated and that he is upskilled.
Upskilled, it means they're putting more work for you and putting more requirements on you.
To help seafarers
the main purpose of the Magna Carta law is to improve seafarers' lives, labor lives, or seafarer working conditions. How can you improve our working conditions if you're basically burdening them with extra requirements? I'm sure somebody could see the logic with this one.
At sabi ko nga po kanina, hindi po ito exhaustive, hindi po ito lahat. I'm sure sa mga ilan po sa inyo may naisip po kayo which you may actually share later on. Ano pa po yung nakikita po ninyo na challenges in the maritime industry? Of course, ambulance chasing refers to unscrupulous individuals persuading seafarers to file exaggerated legal claims in exchange for a large percentage of your settlement. Nakita po natin kanina yung kwento po ng isang seafarer.
This is more like related about the insurance frauds. But they might be, this is more like, I don't know, they're just saying it under the guise of claiming such dispute claims. But if you think about it, they're kind of pointing out the best way to have this is not file a complaint at all to the employers. I don't know. Something's off with this part of section of this Magna Carta law. I can't point my finger on it, but there is something wrong about this. So it's no surprise why some seafarers are also, some seafarers are not,
so this particular
they don't perceive this law as favorable as well.
Po natin ano po yung mga measures na nakapalo po dito sa Magna Carta to address this particular pernicious practice with this ambulance chasing. So iba't iba po yung mga nakapasad po rito and isa-isahin po natin. And I'm sure kapag binasa nyo rin po yung Magna Carta Filipino Seafarers, maaring may makita rin po kayo na bagay po doon that would actually protect our seafarers. So, what are these measures being institutionalized in the Magna Carta Filipino Seafarers to address ambulance chasing? Ulitin po natin at binanggit din po ni President Romeo kanina that ambulance chasing has long exploited Filipino seafarers. Sabi po niya, it has been an issue 15 years or more in the industry. Preying on their need for legal representation and financial support, and the Magna Carta Filipino Seafarers introduces 10 critical measures to combat these predatory practices and protect the rights of our seafarers. First is a right to appropriate grievance mechanism. So binabanggit po under Section 17 that the first safeguard is the welfare's fundamental right to an accessible and appropriate grievance mechanism for complaints and disputes. These measures ensure that grievances are addressed through a structured and documented process that prevents third-party exploitation. It guarantees fairness by requiring all actions and decisions to be recorded, safeguarding both the seafarer and the employer from just claims or undue influences. So there's a right on appropriate grievance mechanism na minamandato po ng batas mismo. Second, we have a provision on onboard and onshore grievance mechanism.
Right.
So to further strengthen this
which is basically almost useless and practically non-existent on the actual workplace.
System in place. So this
And
allows
basically
seafarers to
useless if you're
issues
complaining the captain and the
internally
chief
without being
officer. They
pressured
all
with
have the
external
power
legal
there, so they
battles.
kind of block
Those
that
who are
part.
part of the union can also receive union representation during grievance procedures. These measures ensures that problems are handled efficiently and fairly, reducing the need for costly and time-consuming litigation. So sinasabi po natin dito, may onboard and paglabas onshore grievance mechanism na ini-institute. So kapag may nangyari at may concern po, may aksidente, may grievance po yung isang seafarer po natin, ay may nandun pa na po yung proseso within that particular onboard at inaayos na po ng kanyang mga in-establish po na process para ma-address po yung kanyang concern. There's also this determination disability rating or fitness to work. So under Section 57,
this is mostly related to the PME type of exam, pre-medical examination, something like that.
To return to work to have been often exploited by unscrupulous lawyers, and to prevent this, the Magna Carta requires seafarers to undergo a post-employment medical examination by a company designated physician. If a dispute arises, so company physician muna mag-handle, then kung hindi po siya pabor po doon, hindi siya compliant, hindi siya niniwala doon sa findings po ng company designated physician, then pwede po siyang kumuha ng kanyang sarili pong physician to determine the necessary grade ng kanyang injury. And kapag may dispute, papasok po ngayon yung third-party doctor na tinatawag. And this particular third-party doctor will be consulted and your decision will be final and binding. This ensures that seafarers receive their assessments while avoiding unnecessary litigation and false claims. So mangyari po nito, and this particular matters being, yung guidelines po nito is being prepared currently by the Department of Health in coordination with the Department of Migrant Workers. So silang dalawa po yung nag-uusap how to establish a third-party doctor. And based po dun sa pinag-usapan po namin previously ni Secretary Herbosa ng Department of Health, ang kinukonsider po nila is to assign certain heads of government health facilities. So
so more like a government-sanctioned facility that caters to Filipino seafarers. Okay, I get the picture.
Injury ng mga buto. Diba, kapag
hopefully there's government-sanctioned
so,
the one that they're proposing, this government-sanctioned medical facility. Hopefully they do not get influenced by any seafarer organization or shipping companies, because if they did get influenced, by it, chances are the medical report will not always be favorable to seafarers. So I don't know about that.
So ang kakailangan nila lang po nila is appropriate training in the process of determining the appropriate grading na ibibigay. So yun po yung inaayos po ngayon. And we hope that this particular guidelines will be released soon by the DMW and the Department of Health. Next is under Chapter 11, the conciliation it provides. The Magna Carta provides that conciliation or arbitration is a primary dispute resolution. It's the mode that would primarily be the one to use in settling disputes between the seafarer and his or her employer and against demanding agencies. So to further streamline this dispute resolution, the Magna Carta prioritizes conciliation, mediation, arbitration over prolonged litigation. So the Department of Migrant Workers and the Department of Labor and Employment will provide trained mediators and arbitrators to resolve dispute quickly, fairly, and at no cost to the seafarer. By encouraging alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, this provision minimizes the need for seafarers to seek legal assistance from private entities, further reducing opportunities for ambulance chasers to take advantage of disputes. But of course, hindi po natin tinatanggal syempre yung karapatan po ng mga seafarers po natin to seek appropriate representation from other
that's also
lawyers.
part of it.
Tapos
The
mga
seafarers
private
has a legal
pwede po
right,
nilang lapitan.
like any
They're
other Filipino
definitely,
citizen, to seek
free
any
to
legal
engage
representation
whoever,
of his choice, not the ones that
has
they
the
are
trust
kind of
and confidence. Dahil
offering.
natatandaan din po
So,
natin,
as a person, you have your right to
lawyer-client
be legally
relationship is
represented by a
actually
lawyer of your
a
own choice.
relationship of trust.
But that's the part that's
So,
also
syempre,
been
mahalaga
argued
na
because sometimes there's
pinagkakatiwalaan po nung isang
the person that the
seafarer,
person
yung
that
abogado,
you are
is something
choosing
exactly
to
dun sa,
represent legally is actually
determine
an
po ng
ambulance
third
chaser.
party doctor. Bago po pumasok po sa third party, kung may concern po si seafarer dun sa findings po ng company physician, may karapatan po siya na pumili ng kanyang sarili pong physician because that's his right. And at the same time,
Yeah, that's fair enough.
yung karapatan po niya yon na pumili kung sino yung pinagkakatiwalaan po niya.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yun
fair
po
enough.
yung proseso po natin. But at the same time, ang sinasabi po natin dito sa Magna Carta is we are really encouraging conciliation and arbitration rather than going through a lengthy process of litigation. Under Section 16 also, it provides here free legal assistance. And minamandate din po actually yung PAW to provide free legal assistance to our seafarers. Of course,
Okay.
kapag nasa abroad po kayo,
But honestly, I
mga
find that
seafarers po
POW
natin,
will
primarily
intervene on
responsible
these
po
kinds
dyan
of
yung mga managing
cases.
agencies po nila, the ship owners,
Mostly
to
POWs
provide
don't
you
intervene
the
with this
legal
because this
representation.
has money
I recall, may mga
involvement
lumapit
and
po sa akin
usually
previously, mga nakulong
you know,
po
they
sa
don't
other
like to cater
countries, for example, in
folks
Turkey.
who have money for their
Dalawang
legal
grupo po yan
cases like
previously.
seafarers.
They were involved in
They
certain
usually
legal
mostly
case.
concentrates their
And tayo
efforts
po yung
in
nilapitan po nila.
catering
Pero,
to people who do not
nilapitan
have
po
any
natin
financial
sa
means of supporting
ating
themselves to
embahada,
file a
and
legal
the
case
embassy
against their
actually
employers
assured us that
or
the
to file
money agencies and the ship owners actually provided legal assistance to them dun sa mga seafarers. Ang kinailangan lang po ay siguraduhin din, mabantayan din po sila to make sure that the legal representation being given to our seafarers, lalo na pong nasa ibang bansa po sila, is really effective and efficient. Something that would really ensure that your rights are really being protected. So, meantime, saglit lang po, inom lang po ako.
Okay, take your time. No worries with that.
Maraming salamat. At the same time, pag nandito po sa Pilipinas, nandyan po yung ating Public Attorney's Office, and of course, nandyan po yung OWA po natin, that they will be able to provide, and the DMW, to be able to provide a legal assistance to our seafarers. Klaro rin po, as one of the things that we introduced in this particular law, yung period to settle claims.
Right.
Sa kasad po dito, delays in processing seafarers' claims often push them towards ambulance chasers who offer quick but costly legal services. To prevent this particular matter from happening, the law mandates that employers must settle all validated claims within 15 days. This guarantees us that seafarers receive their due benefits without delay, reducing their financial vulnerability and the temptation to engage with exploitative legal intermediaries.
I guess that part's fair enough on this
During
one.
the discussion, nung pinag-usapan po ito doon sa Kongreso, nabanggit po ng mga kasama po sa industriya na isa po sa kadalasan po na naging dahilan kung bakit lumalapit po yung isang seafarer doon sa mga ambulance chasers dahil tumatagal po yung claim.
Okay.
Kasi syempre, alam naman po natin kapag nagka-injury po yung isang seafarer, isa lang po yung ibig sabihin po noon. Hindi siya makakasampa muli, kagad, or hindi na nga siya makakasampa for the rest of his life. Then ngayon, kung yung claim pa po niya tumagal pa, saan po siya kukuha? So, madalas, nagiging rason po ito para lumapit po sila doon sa mga nag-aalok po ng libre, quote-unquote, na legal assistance po nila.
Yeah, deceptive law practices.
Kaya, ang sinabi po natin dito, nakasad po dito sa batas mismo, that there's a maximum that this particular claim should be settled once validated within a 15-day period. And, mayroon din po tayo, ito po yung isa sa pinaka controversial previously, the requirement for bond for discretionary awards.
Yeah, that is one of the things as well that I kind of am critical about myself.
Monetary awards. Before any execution of this award,
So this is the
bond
flow
must be
chart.
posted, ensuring that only legitimate claims would proceed. This measure protects both seafarers' employers from frivolous lawsuits and discourages ambulance chasers from pursuing baseless claims purely for financial gain. So dito po, makikita po natin dito sa
Holy shit, they always says here no reimbursement.
dalawang
So
klase po
if you
yung
posted a bond, you can't get
pwedeng
it back.
i-award. Kapag in-award po
I
ito
thought-
ay tawag dito.
Oh my
And by
goodness.
determination whether that particular award is, we call it discretionary or mandatory. So yung nakasulat po
Wait,
sa
okay, I might have
59,
misjudged.
A2C, ito po yung mandatory, kailangan pong ibigay po kagad, yung mga uncontested.
So did
Ito po yung
the
mga
seafarers
nakasaad
case
po sa
push
batas,
through
mga
based on this document
benefits
thing?
po niya na
Is it
nakasaad
a yes?
dun po sa kanyang SEC as well as
Losing
dun sa
party
kanyang sa batas na
reimburses.
sinasabi po natin,
Oh.
dapat immediately execute
And
po yun.
if the
Walang
seafarer
questions
doesn't,
asked, immediately execute. For the rest,
you know,
yung
they kind of lost
discretionary
the
award,
case due to appeals. No
hindi,
reimbursement because it's gonna be
pwede
awarded
i-execute
back
po
to
kagad
the
yan.
company. Oh my
Ang
goodness.
kailangan lang po dyan would be
What the
to post
frack?
bond. So pareho po silang immediately executory. Yung isa, yung tatawag po natin na
So instead of the
mandatory
seafarers
awards
getting money for their benefits
based on sa
on ship
uncontested
owners,
or
it's the ship owners are
tawag po
getting
natin na
basically getting the
may
money
batas
back
o
or
doon
getting the
nakasulat po
money
doon sa
from
SEC po niya,
seafarers.
standard employment contract.
Right.
Immediately executory.
Sorry,
without the
I'm
need
getting
to ban. Hindi kailangan
sorry.
mag-post.
Let's just proceed
So,
with it. I'm
pangalawa
just
naman,
getting
yung sa
kind
mga
of
discretionary
emotional with
award,
this one.
pwede pa rin po niyang i-execute po to immediately. Kaya lang, ang sinasabi lang po natin dito,
Okay.
kailangan po niyang mag-post ng ban para siguraduhin na kapag na-reverse po ito, pareho po silang protektado. Protected po yung seafarer himself
bullshit.
at protected din po yung ship owner or the
I don't think that there. In what way
Kasi
does the
kung
seafarer is protected
may
on
ban,
that? It's not protected.
kung
You're
nireverse
losing
po yun,
money. You're losing.
so si
It's either.
seafarer,
It's
hindi
only
niya
more
kailangan
like
pustahin sa sarili
a
niyang
death
pusa.
game.
Yung
It's either the seafarers lost money or the ship owner loses
At the
money.
same
So it's
time,
more like a Russian roulette gamble that's happening here.
ship owner naman at yung manning agencies, nakakasigurado po sila na yung kanilang ibinayad ay pwedeng
Holy
bumalik
fuck.
po sa kanila. So, it's a win-win solution.
I don't
First,
think it's a
maaaring
win-win
may mga
situation.
dinig po kayo na
I kind of
misconception,
find that
mga
bullshit.
misinformation, disinformation.
To be honest,
concerning
I thought it was some rumors, but
59.
apparently on how the way they presented it, it was much worse than people imagined. Oh my goodness, bullshit.
Gawin po nating fair yung system.
Oh,
Pareho lahat yan.
good
Immediately
lord.
executory po yan. Kapag uncontested yan, kapag mandatory yan, ibigay ka agad without need of a ban. Kapag discretionary yan, ibig sabihin, uncontested po yung amount or discretionary, ito po yung kasama po doon sa tinatawag po natin na attorney's fees, mga moral damages.
Oh, fuck
kasi may
that.
discretion po yung nag-award.
That's
Kaya
bullshit.
tinatawag po natin discretionary award. Ang nagde-determine lang po niyan based doon sa tingin noong labor arbiter o kaya nung commissioner. So sa tingin nila, itong seafarer na ito dahil medyo nahirapan po siya o kaya duman po siya sa sumama talaga yung loob niya, sumama loob ng kanyang pamilya, dahil kailangan bigyan natin siya ng moral damage
Specifically
na
this
10
part,
million.
I'm
That's
gonna point it out here on my mouse.
Kasi
This
saan ba nagdala
little
yun?
part here,
Doon sa
this
pananaw
is
po
the
ng
bullshit
arbiter.
part.
So,
You're not being
yung
awarded
bagay
money.
po na
Why?
yun yung
Why
sinasabi
does
po
this
natin kasi
include no reimbursement?
hindi-
It
wala
means you
siyang
can't get your money
pinanggalingan.
back.
Kundi doon sa
You can't get the
sole
bond back. What the
determination
fuck?
po nung nag-decide.
You say you're
Kasi
suing the
sabi po
company,
natin,
say
those
for
particular
200,000 and you have
instances,
posted a
that's
bond.
discretionary. So, kapag
It means
in-award
the
po yun,
bond
pwede
that
pa rin
you
makuha po
posted
yun.
earlier,
Mananalo
you
ka.
couldn't get it because you
Dun
can't
sa
secure
NCNB
your case.
or sa
Your
NLRC.
case didn't
Pero,
win. So you do
kakailanganin
not
ka
only
mag-postpone
wasted
ng bond.
money on lawyer's
Make sure
fee, you
kapag
also
na-reverse mo
wasted
yun,
money
kung
on the
hindi man
bond
na-reverse,
fees.
binago po yung decision,
This is
sinabi
kind of stupid.
ng
Oh my
korte later
goodness.
on.
What the
Kapag
fuck?
nag-appeal, kasi most likely mag-appeal po yan sa CA o kaya Supreme Court. Ang
This is
sasabihin po niya most
bullshit.
likely doon, instead of you entitled to 10 million, sabihin nila, sapat
Not
na
all,
yung 1
all
million.
those flowery words could
Paano yung
sway
9 million?
that
Saan
kind of
magagaling po
interpretation
yun? Kung
from
pinababa ng 9 million,
common
manalo ka na,
seafarers. I
pero
find this one
hindi
bullshit.
buo kasi may binago dun sa award.
You know,
So,
they
yung
can
9
put in
million
a
ngayon,
ton of
papabalik
flowery
sa'yo.
words about
Eh,
this, but
tanong, kapag
it's still very clear on the
kausap na po
flow
yung mga-
chart here based
may
on this
nakausap na ng
document
mga
that if the
ambulance
seafarer loses, he
distribute na
doesn't
po
get
yun.
the money. He even
Diba?
loses the.
Nakuha na po
If
yung
he's
9
claiming
million.
for filing
Eh,
charges against his
actually,
employer and
based
he
dun sa kwento po
lost,
nung kanina,
Well,
Balik
he's
lang
not
po
gonna
yung
get the
natanggap po
money
sa kanya.
back. It clearly states here
Maring may
no
nakuha po siya doon na
reimbursement.
4
What the
million.
fuck?
Kung pinababalik po sa'yo 9 million. Kasi entitlement mo lang pala 1 million. Di ba? Pero ang natanggap mo lang is 4 million. Saan mo naman kukunin yung the rest? And most likely by the time, naubos na yung tinanggap mo na 4 million. So,
Yeah,
saan
but
kukunin
that's
yung 9
not the
million
concern
na
of the.
pinababalik sa isang seafarer?
That's not the concern
Kaya
of the
sasabi po natin
seafarers.
dito,
You're basically telling that the
this,
seafarers should
particular
hold
provision
on to the
makes sure
money
that
until
everybody
there's a
gets
proper
the benefit.
finale and conclusion
May
on that.
yung bawat isa. And may assurance na kung sakali man na ma-reverse,
But anyway, like I
okay,
said, there's no
mabago
need
yung
to be
desisyon,
emotional because
hindi
these
ibabalik
people, they're not here to
seafarer
answer your
wala sa
questions.
kanyang
They're
sariling
here just
bulsa.
only what
At the
their
same time,
interpretation
yung
of the law is.
ship
It's
owner
not,
ay nakakasigurado
it's not part of their job, to
may
be honest, to answer
opportunity
those
na
questions.
makabalik
They're
sa
just
kanya
here to explain
yung
that. But the
pera
explanation is
na
very
previously
poor and very
binayad niya wrongfully.
messed up and fucked up.
So, yun po yung
You can see here, this part, this
in a
one
nutshell,
is very,
itong
very
prohibition,
concerning to
ito pong
seafarers,
bond
this
requirement
area here.
under Section 59. Also, there's a prohibition on appearances and fees. One of the strongest deterrents
Which is,
against
of course,
chasing
separately
prohibition
charged from the bond.
unauthorized legal representation. And only licensed lawyers.
To be honest, the only thing that benefits here is either the government or the ship owners. It's either on those two.
Awarded compensation consistent with Seafarers Protection Act, yung binanggit po kanina, with its Republic Act 10706. Any fees beyond this threshold are considered invalid and must be refunded to the seafarer. Malapit na po tayo matapos dahil time ko supposed to be hanggang 2:40.
Yeah, of course. You're actually 3 minutes over time.
Prohibited from lending money to seafarers or engaging predatory lending practices. They're also
Okay, no loan
barred from
sharks.
lending or
That's fair enough.
facilitating loans through financing
But the
institutions
thing here
linked
is
to
that
seafarers.
the seafarer
Because
cannot
these
alone get that
provisions
kind of
are
money
designed
on
to
the
prevent
bond. So
seafarers
he
from
has to
falling
resort
into
to,
financial traps
well,
set by
lending,
unscrupulous legal
which
practitioners.
basically ends up him getting more like
inuulitin po
into a
natin
financial
dito na
trap.
bawal po na mangyayari yung seafarer ay yung lawyer o yung grupo po niya pautangin po yung seafarer. Then wala na po siyang choice later on kapag nanalo. At pag nanalo ay wala nang naiwan po sa kanya. So,
Okay, you started on that. I find that hard to believe on that kind of part. You kind of stuttered. Something tells me that you're lying on that part.
Sometimes nawawala po ako. But matatapos na po tayo.
Okay,
And, of course,
anyway,
there's intensified
yeah.
education campaign.
This is basically not related to, it's basically not related to the seafarer welfare. So there's also a chat, sir.
Launches a nationwide information campaign to educate seafarers about their
There's
rights,
also a
legal
chat here.
protections,
Sir,
and
paano
agreements
po
and
yung
claims processes.
paulit-ulit na lang na ginawa
By
na
arming
business you
seafarers
sign off
acknowledge
due
this
to
campaign
medical
reduces
reasons?
their reliance on
Oh,
predatory
okay.
aliens
So
and
this
exploiting
is
lack of
not
awareness. Actually, kailangan
this
po
is
talaga
not
natin
a seafarer who's
intensified
asking this
education
question.
campaign,
This is
kagaya po ng
basically the
ginagawa
ship
po natin
owner.
ngayon.
So
Bakit tayo nagkakaroon po ng
I don't know
webinar
about this
series
one.
as
He's
well as
concerned
specific
about
topic on this issue ng ambulance
probably
chasing.
one of their
Kasi nga,
seafarers who
there is
they
misinformation,
kinda,
disinformation. Naalala
I
ko,
don't know.
nagkukwento po
Put it
yung
in
isa
this
po,
way, he always signs off due to
kakilala po
medical
natin,
reasons.
umattend daw po siya ng hearing.
Honestly, this is a
Then,
company man,
yung isa po dun sa mga
thing on
nandoon
this, what we're
na
looking at here on this chat.
representative po ng so-called ambulance chasers, ang sinisisi niya po itong Magna Carta. Ang sinasabi po niya kagad doon sa kanyang kliyente, alam mo, talagang dihado talaga tayo sa umpisa pa lang dahil dyan sa Magna Carta na yan, sinisigurado nila na wala kang makukuha. But it's definitely a disinformation.
I don't think that's disinformation. You've already presented it right in front of it on the flowchart. I think that's bullshit.
As well as,
if you think there's like is disinformation, then what makes it guarantee us that you're saying as well is not also disinformation or lack of information? Think of it the same thing as a reverse psychology. If you think I'm lying, how am I sure that you yourself are not lying to me as well? Right? There's the trust issues here. Serious trust issues.
Ano po yung panghuli na kasad po dito? Establishment of seafarer hubs or welfare centers. So seafarers need accessible support systems that provide legitimate, free, and effective services. That is why the law mandates establishment of seafarer welfare centers
You know,
at major ports.
the way how they spin their
The
words
centers
here, it's
operated
definitely more
by overseas
favorable
workers
to the ship
by OWA,
owners rather
which will
than the
offer free legal
seafarer or
assistance
the
for designated
workers,
public attorneys,
which
microtraining
is
programs, maybe provide the
oh, I don't know how
BTSDA
you put
and
this one.
NMP,
You know,
creation
these
of
types of
cultural services to
I'm
support
not really sure
seafarers'
why this law
well-being,
even made
and
it
by
and
creating
passed.
safe
Because if you
spaces
put
for
it on
legal
the Europeans
and career
or
assistance,
Western
this measure
point
ensures
of view,
that
they would
seafarers do not
have
fall prey to
burned this
exploitative,
law to the ground.
intermediaries.
Because it
Makikita
clearly
po natin ito,
defines
sino na
that
po
they're
nakapunta po sa
they're
atin
more
sa
interested in
seafarer
protecting
hub
ship
dun sa
owners
Calao.
in the excuse that they
Nagaling po
want
kami
to
doon noong
hire
nakaraan
more
dahil
jobs.
nagkaroon po tayo ng
That doesn't
vaccination
really
drive
solve
po
the
doon
issue,
para
I'll
sa
be
mga
honest. That
seafarers
doesn't
po
really
natin.
solve the issue
And
of improving
really
the working
is a
conditions and labor
game
practices of
changer.
Filipino
Yung mga
seafarers.
seafarers po natin
It's just
na
basically more like a
kadalasan po nandun
compromise
po
thing.
pa kalat-kalat sa at wala po silang matambayan, ngayon pwede po silang tumambay po doon sa Seafarer Hub. Kaya kudos kay Administrator Arnel Ignacio na siya po magbibigay mamaya ng closing remarks. Alam po ninyo, nanggaling lang po yon dun sa discussion namin at the time. Nung pinag-usapan po namin tong Magna Carta, dun sa Kongreso, then nagkukwentuhan po kami ni Administrator Arnel Ignacio in one of those hearings. Sabi niya, bakit kaya kung magtayo tayo ng Seafarer Hub? Although, nakasad na po talaga na dun sa task. Then sabi niya, umpisa na kaya natin kaagad. And nakita po natin dun sa Calao, inumpisa na po ng OWA. And pag pumunta po kayo doon, there's an overflowing food. May wifi
Calao
po yung mga
itself
tao.
is already
Di
a
ko alam kung free po
seafarer
yun,
hub,
po na-check.
a de
Pero,
facto
pwede po
seafarer
silang tumambay
hub.
kahit matagal.
Unofficial, but it's still a
Maghapon
hub.
nandun po sila habang nag-aantay
So
po
basically
sila
on that
ng
part, they're
kanilang
kind of just
application, papers
what do you call this? They're just
And take note, itong Seafarer Hub po natin,
redundant
hindi po
on
ito
that
pinopondohan
thing.
po ito
On
ng
that
gobyerno,
situation is
OWA,
basically just
Seafarer Hub
redundant.
po natin. At isa lang po ito doon sa may papatayo po ng OWA. Nanggaling po ako sa The Bridge, doon po sa Rotterdam, Netherlands. Pero yung pong doon, it was funded actually by the industry. Ang nag-fund po noon are the manning agencies and the ship owners. Pero dito po sa atin, ang nag-fund po nito is the government. So ito po yung isa sa konkretong suporta po ng ating
Yeah,
gobyerno
because
para sa mga
the
seafarers
manning
po natin.
agencies did
At the same time,
treat
we
the
acknowledge
seafarers
also the
well compared to
participation
the
of some
Philippine
private sectors.
counterparts.
Kagaya po ni Rino Bolivar, Dr. Rino. May sarili po siya sa Marino PH, may sarili
Because
po
in
siyang
European,
tambayan. And this
because
was
in
funded,
European point of view, or Western point of view, that kind of
some of those na gusto
things
po
will get
mag-contribute. Kaya
they'll
ito
just
po yung
basically
opportunity para
burn
sa
them
mga kababayan natin,
that
mga
kind of
seafarers na pwede po silang
level of
tumambay po roon.
mentality of thinking.
Habang
They'll just
nag-aantay
burn
po at
those
habang
kinds
nagpoproseso
of
po sila ng
policies,
kanilang mga papeles.
and those kinds of
So in
policies are
conclusion,
basically illegal
the Magna Carta
in the
Philippine
Western and
Seafarers was a crucial
European
step toward securing the
interpretation.
rights, welfare,
But I don't know.
and
This is the
protectiveness of
Philippines, of
Filipino
course. This is
seafarers.
Southeast Asia.
It addresses
Things
key
in
challenges
Europe and
such as
America. It may
inconsistencies in training,
apply
fraudulent
here in the
credentials,
Philippines, but in
bureaucratic
Europe and in
inefficiencies,
America, that does
lack of
not
government
exactly
support,
apply, and it's actually
unfair legal
illegal.
perceptions,
So I don't know.
technological shifts, and ambulance chasing. So babalikan ko lang po yung sasabi po natin kanina with respect to the roles of government agencies. Dito po, klarong-klaro po kung ano po yung mga roles ng mga iba't ibang ahensya ng ating pamahalaan.
Really,
Po, for example, yung
I
delineation.
find that
Pagdating po sa pag-process
somewhat
po ng mga
unsettling.
applications ng mga seafarers po natin going abroad, klaro po yan, DMW po yan. The minimum standards, minimum requirements, accommodation, kanilang salaries, nakasapaloob po yan sa kapangyarihan po ng DMW, and they will be they're updating, I understand, yung SEC, yung Standard Employment Contract.
Okay, there's
Pagdating
one
po sa concern sa
chat
mga
here
domestic
that's kind of a
seafarers,
bit emotional
nandyan
as
po
well.
yung dole.
Ipabasa mo diyang
that
kay
caters
Salo
to
na diktator
Pagdating po
ng
sa
pera namin mga
certification,
seafarer.
at
Akala
training,
ba namin
training,
rights ng
education,
seafarer,
training,
bakit
certification
dinidiktahan
ng
kami
mga
sa pera
seafarers po
namin?
natin, nandyan po yung ina. Pagdating po sa mga
Well, that guy basically has point.
grievances, concerns,
The government doesn't have any say on, you know, what seafarers earn, because the seafarers work for it. So, I guess one is very, very emotionally charged on that. For me, I'm not. I'm just staying here on the YouTube platform.
With this law, the government
I'm not gonna go, you know, get into the fray on that. I'm just sticking
financial
here
and technical
on
support
this
for
one.
training institutions and legal protections against exploitative practices. However, its success depends on effective
Anyway, I
implementation
just kind of read
and
that.
strong
It's
coordination
kind of
among government
in
agencies,
Tagalog.
maritime institutions, and stakeholders,
This
gaya po na
chat
nabanggit din po
here
kanina
thing,
ni
this one.
President Borromeo. Filipino seafarers are the backbone of global trade. It is only right that we provide them with the protection, opportunities, and respect they deserve. Through this law,
I made a mistake
we
in that.
reaffirm our commitment
Wow,
to
we got a
keeping
lot of
Filipino seafarers the preferred
participants
choice in the
here.
global maritime
It's already
industry,
now
that they should be
251
protected,
participants.
empowered,
251.
Salamat
A
po.
majority of
With
these are
that
probably
ends my
seafarers.
presentation.
I think from
And
what I
understand, nandito
understand.
rin po si Captain Ronald Enrile. Just in case may mga tanong po kayo, I will call on some of those who are present who would be able to expound on some of the items. At kapag may mga katanungan po kayo, I understand si Audrey, si RJ, will process those particular questions that you may raise.
Right.
Thank you once again. Maraming salamat po. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat.
Magandang hapon, Congressman Sal. Maraming salamat sa
Okay. Well, anyway, he's not here to answer our questions. He's here to just read and present the Magna Carta law. In other words, he's not. It's not. This is not for discussion and debate. This is only for interpretation and discussion.
To get your certificates, I believe our admin team from Kabayan already have posted the links for the certificates of episode 1 and 2. For episode 3, we will be posting that a little later at the end of the session. So stay tuned. For those who have just joined us in Facebook Live, this is Kabayan Party List Magna Carta Filipino Seafarers 101, a webinar series. At this point, we will have a short break, and when we come back, we will have the Q&A portion where I will be reading and asking the questions you send us through the chat box on Zoom, also on the Facebook page of Kabayan Party List.
Okay.
So for those who still have questions, mag-type lang po kayo dyan sa comment section, and our admin team will be taking notes of those. And
Okay, this is a lot of chat. This is said in Tagalog. Tanong po sir, meron ba na Magna Carta like example, nag-medical si Marino bago sumampa tapos may kailangang operahan sa kanya? May magbibigay ba na ang Magna Carta or company or DMW ng pera para makatulong sa pagpapa-opera? Tapos pag di nakasampa dahil di na nakasampa sa medical, may ibibigay pa ba na company or any agency sa amin? Kasi pag di na nakasampa na medical, wala ka nang pakialam ng mga company. Yeah, because that's also the dapat yun ang kailangan ni seafarer. Okay, so in other words, if the seafarer fails the medical, basically he's off the grid. But anyway, that's for them to answer. I'm not. I'm just observing here on what their. I'm just observing what their. What this discussion will turn out. By the way, I like the song with this one. It's kind of more like techno music, like the 1980s or 90s kind of thing. Okay. The song is really nice. It's just kind of thing that perhaps on this song is that it's a propaganda material by one of the managing agencies or one of the employers, specifically Hartman. I would have, I don't know. I just think that this is a song for seafarers, not a song for ship owners. And if you're gonna dedicate this on the general populace of seafarers, you shouldn't put it on just a single entity. You should put it as more like a pro entity. So I don't know. I love the song, but the thing that kind of puts it off is that they kind of plugged in the Hartman manning agency, this company. If you're pro-Filipino, you should say it as a general. It's kind of like saying a victory is for as whole, as a whole community, not just a single. Anyway, that's the thing. It's just kind of off-putting that they have to plug in this, this company name. If you're really dedicating this song for Filipino seafarers, it should be as a whole, not as a single entity. It's kind of like as, I just dislike that kind of thing. It's supposed to be we as a seafarer, not I as Hartman company. But a nice song, by the way. Nice song. I kind of like it myself. It's just like I said. If you're representing the Filipino seafarer community, you should represent us whole, not on a single, not only a single, not a single company. You shouldn't, they shouldn't claim this song.
That was Pagkabig sa Timon ng Buhay, a video produced by Hartman Crew Philippines. Welcome back to
Okay,
Magna
so they
Carta
produced it. I thought it
Philippines
won the
Airs
song of
webinar series
the
brought to you by Combined
Marina
Party
or
List
something.
in partnership with AMASU, United Filipino Seafarers, CFAM International, Alma Maritime Group,
See,
JMG,
even one of the chats
and
here are
Filipino
asking
Association
themselves
for Maritime
why the
Employment
seafarer cannot
or
reimburse the
FAME.
bond if he loses in the
We also
appeal.
would like to thank
So
our media
who,
partner Marino PH,
whose pockets the
Maritime
money gonna
Journalists
end up with?
Association of the Philippines, and
I
Marine
mean,
World.
that's
And our
very,
social media
really
partner,
questionable. It only says here that
Center for
if you do not,
Hospitality
if you lost and you can't
Culinary
reimburse it, I think
At
it
this
goes
point,
directly
we
to the
now proceed
Philippine
to our
government.
question and
I
answer
think.
portion. For
I mean,
those-
from my
just a little
understanding,
reminder,
see,
we are
even one of
talking
the
about
chats is
episode
already
3,
saying
challenges
this,
of the maritime
the same
industry
thing here.
and measures to address ambulance chasing. For those who want to ask questions, let's make this a safe space. Kung meron po kayong komento, kung meron kayong question, let's craft our question in a nice way,
Yeah.
respecting each other.
Yeah,
I am receiving
the attorneys
questions,
is already
in something
concerned
about
about seafarers
and,
being rude and
admin
emotionally
team.
charged
And
on
at
that
this
kind
point,
of
we are
part.
also being joined, aside from Congressman Salo, we are being joined by Captain Ronald Enrile.
Okay, there's also some
to the PTC Shipping Class.
there are also some
Philippine
chats here. Cheryl Taco, saan po makikita ang
Captain
rights
Enrile
ng
supports
seafarers
all
sa
facets of
kailan
the
lang
business,
allotment na
covering
ginawa pong
general
80%
ship
pricing OT?
management
Bakit po
and
ginawa
crewing
ninyo
matters.
kayo na
Good
masusunod
afternoon,
tinignan nyo?
Captain Enrile.
Alright, so another seafarer here is also emotionally charged on his
hapon sa
chat.
lahat ng participant itong webinar and maraming salamat kong Salo sa
Right, they're even questioning if they made a survey or not on this chat. It says
binigay
here.
mo ngayong araw.
This is of course in Tagalog.
Right,
This is
ready na po ba tayong sumagot, sir?
I don't know how to
Yes,
interpret this in
ready na
English.
tayo.
It says that
Congressman Salo,
the law
Congressman Salo,
is not exactly
ready?
well planned
Yes,
out.
definitely, RJ. At binabati rin po natin si
Oh
Captain
my
Jeff
goodness,
Solon.
this is Congressman Salo, the one that's being
Zoom.
pointed out by
Welcome to our
seafarers.
Zoom and our Facebook Live. Okay, first question. Ito na.
Yeah, he's
How can
basically
seafarers differentiate
asking it.
between legitimate legal
Yeah, they're kind of
assistance
asking here,
and
where does the
ambulance
money go
chasing?
if the
And
bond
what
cannot be
red flags
reimbursed?
should they watch out
And
for?
the seafarer lost the case.
I think I can start with Congressman Ron.
Yes, of course, yung mga naka-experience na nito, definitely alam na nila kasi may personal experience po sila. Pero I suppose, isa po yan sa mga makikita po natin red flag kapag kasi may nakasad po dyan na maximum na pwedeng kunin. Bigay po dun sa lawyer. Based dun sa batas na pinirmahan at very active po si Captain Enrile po doon sa Seafarers Protection Act nung pinasa po yun. Maximum po doon 10% lang. Ang mangyayari po dyan, mararamdaman mo na ambulance chasing po yon kung una, nilapitan ka. instead of you
Okay, so I guess the
looking for a
congressman is
lawyer,
not answering
ikaw po
directly the
yung
question
hinanap.
here. He's just
Kumbaga,
basically
Kasi of course,
interpreting what the law was written
Sila yung mangunguna
on how
na
the way it was written.
makipag-usap sa'yo. Tama ko?
Tama po. Kasi nanggaling po yung konsepto ng ambulance chasing sa Amerika po yan. Yung practice na kapag na aksidente ang isang tao, of course nakasakay po sa ambulansya. Yung mga lawyers, ngayon kapag nakita nila yung ambulansya,
Yeah, in other words,
din po
you
ngayon.
could
Diretso po
summarize
sa
it
ospital.
as more like a
Habang
form of
ginagamot pa
insurance
lang po,
fraud.
ang sinasabi
That's
nila,
how
"I'll represent you,
it is
I'll
viewed.
represent you."
You know, they have a
Bigyan
lot
kita
of
ng
flowery
abogado.
words, a lot
Ako
of
yun,
very long
abogado ako.
explanation,
So,
but it just
yun po yung
basically boils
pinanggalingan
down
po
to
ng konsepto
insurance
po yan.
fraud.
Ngayon, dito sa Pilipinas,
That's the way how
of
it
course,
is
yung mga
put.
aksidente, wala masyado pong nangyayari po sa Pilipinas dahil yung insurance system natin hindi masyado. Kaya, very pronounced po itong ambulance chasing sa seafaring industry. Kasi dito po sa insurance scheme. Ito po yung binabanggit po natin, di po ba, may grading. Kapag nagkasakit o kaya may injury, may specific grade 1 to 14. 14 being the lowest and 1 being the highest. So,
okay.
dahil ganyang scheme na insurance,
By the time you reach 14, FYI, you're already dead. The seafarer is already dead at that part.
Those who are
14 means death.
Kasi,
One is
isip nila,
basically
they can go for
some fingers are missing, something like
Kung
that.
naalala po ninyo, sa PhilHealth before, nagkaroon po ng issue ng upcasing. Ibig sabihin, nung panahon po ng COVID, may 1 to 4 na grade yung kaso. 1, mas maliit yung makukuha. Baliktad naman
In
po doon,
your
grade
opinion,
1
okay?
hanggang 4.
It says on the
Yung
chat
4,
here.
yun yung pinakamalaki na makukuha noon. Kaya nagkaroon ng upcasing na issue sa PhilHealth, lahat po ng mga nagkakasakit dinideclare as COVID na malala para makakuha po sila ng
It
malaki.
does not directly answer the question here on
Same
the chat.
thing
Where does the
dito po
money
sa
go?
ambulance
Where does
chasing
the fund go if the seafarer
Ang sasabihin
loses?
sa'yo ngayon, don't worry. Kaya second, nilapitan ka. Pangalawa, ang sasabihin nila sa'yo, huwag kang mag-alala. We'll make sure you get the maximum reward or award.
And this is answered
So,
not a
kahit
lawyer
na
but
grade
some
lang,
guy from
medyo
Congress
sumakit lang
Safeway,
yung likod mo,
which is
diba?
basically
Hindi masyadong
a ship
malalaw, kaya
owner.
yung mga classic case
So
po dyan,
not a
yung
worker
naputulong
or
po
not a
ng,
labor union thing.
daliri, kuko,
And the labor
diba?
union here,
Hindi naman buong daliri
funnily
po niya, pero
enough,
certain part na
is
kuko
kind
niya
of missing.
natanggal. Sabihin
I mean,
nila,
I don't know.
that's,
They're supposed to represent
total disability.
workers, but they're kind of missing right now on this discussion.
Kasi mga
Well, so much for
katrabaho ka
labor
pa.
unions on
Parang ang sinasabi natin,
on this
it's like
discussion.
over-promising.
God, they're a disgrace to any worker union.
Not only over-promising, kundi ina-assure talaga nila. Kasi makukuha naman talaga nila yon.
I find that hard to
dyan ngayon,
believe.
red
Okay.
flag, mag-sharing na ngayon. Pag-usapan yung sharing. So instead of you saying na ito yung legal fees mo, sila ngayon magsasabi, this is how we're going to distribute yung makukuha natin. Diba?
Really?
Make sure
So,
that you get the
how does
maximum
that
award,
differ in
not
just changing
yung
a few
kung you're
words?
entitled to grade 4.
Congressman Salo here
we'll make
probably
sure that
has,
you get the
I don't know,
maximum
I think he's
disability
kind of
benefit.
stuttering or having
Pero,
some problems now. He's kind of
ito na
struggling
yung
now because
distribution
a
scheme
lot of
natin.
people are now
Hahatiin
questioning the
instead
law
of
he's
the
written
maximum 10% na makukuha nila, baliktad. Doon sa mga discussions po natin noon, on the average daw po, 50 to 60%, yun yung kukunin nila. So, ang maiiwan na lang po doon sa seafarer would be between 40 to 50%. So, immediately, kapag ganun po, number 4, sasabihin mo, wala akong perang po ngayon eh. Sabi nila, huwag kang mag-alala, free ito, wala kang babayaran. Kasi alam po ninyo, sa legal practice, bawal po na walang babayaran ang isang client. Kailangan mayroong acceptance fee. Pero ngayon, kung sasabihin na libre na lahat, wala kang gagawin, pipirma ka na lang. So alam mo na, that's a scheme. Number 4, number 5, sasabihin nila, kung wala kang pera, huwag kang mag-alala rin, paghihiramin ka namin. Pautangin ka namin. I-advance namin para sa'yo. So definitely, it's a clear scheme. Kasi, ang gagawin mo na lang doon, ikaw na lang yung pumirma, pa-appearing ka na lang nila, then later on, ano na rin po yon. Number 6, may assignment na nung tatanggapin. Pag tinanggap, hindi po siya didirekta doon sa kliyente. Hindi didirekta doon sa seafarer na may sakit. Pupunta na siya ngayon, ang hahawak na po noon, yung abogado. O kaya'y hindi man abogado, yung kasama doon sa scheme na yon. Kapag nanalo, sila na yung tatanggap. Then, baliktad na ngayon. Imbis na si seafarer, yung kliyente yung magbibigay doon sa lawyer po niya, baliktad. Siya na lang yung bibigyan ngayon nung part nung ambulance chasers na grupo. Bibigyan na lang nila si seafarer. So, those are among the red flags. Paano nyo ma-identify that that's an ambulance chasing scheme?
Thank you, Congressman Salo. Captain Enrile, do you want to add on that?
Yeah, just to add on what Kong Salo mentioned, actually sasabihin ko based on actual experience, kasi marami kaming mga seafarers na naging biktima ng ambulance chasers. Ang unang-unang red flag, tama yung sabi ni Kong Salo, ay lalapitan yung seafarer natin. It's either the ambulance chasing lawyers or may mga representative yan. Nag-aabang yan doon sa mga, kung na-hospital yung seafarer from the vessel, pag uwi rito, pupuntahan sa ospital, may mga sugo yan, at sasabihin na ako, natulungan ako nitong abogado na to, at dapat ikaw magkaroon ka rin ng abogado para maproteksyonan yung right mo. So, isang sinyalis na yun. Ang pangalawa, sasabihin, hindi
but how do I trust these words coming from a person who's basically a company agent? They're kind of discrediting it as the lawyers as well with this one. But this is, of course, expected because he's a company man. They discourage seafarers to claim their rights as much as possible. That's what I think it is.
Ibibigay yun. Not knowing na yung binigay sa'yo may interest pala. Ang sasabihin lang, sige, pirma ka lang ng
okay, there's also a question here. It means in translation, does the lawyer is the lawyer prohibited from doing a work suing?
Yung benepisyo mo.
Yeah, is the lawyer prohibited from going pro bono on the case?
Pinupuntahan pa sa bahay.
This thing here on the chat.
Nila kung saan yung bahay
but
ng
if this is true that the lawyer is prohibited from doing a pro bono case, it means how public attorney's office as function is basically useless because the main purpose of POW is to bring law or legal services to a person totally free. In other words, it's always pro bono. But anyway, these are just my commentaries, of course. Yeah. So in other words, POW here is basically, or public attorney's office is basically useless because of this thing here. Assuming if this is true, this one chat here.
Settle namin, iiyak yung seaman dahil yung 50% ng reward napupunta na kagad doon sa abogado. Kawawang seaman, imbis na kanya yung 100%, nahatian pa siya. So yun yung payo natin sa mga seafarer. Bago kayo kumuha ng abogado, kausapin niyo munang maigi yung inyong manning agency. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Captain Enrile. I think nasagot na ni Captain Enrile yung next question. Ang question kasi dito ay how to deal or how to protect themselves from fraudulent legal practitioners who engage in ambulance chasing. So, part of that. But let me continue with the question as well. I repeat ko na lang, maybe Congressman Salo has an additional answer to this. How can seafarers protect themselves from fraudulent legal practitioners who engage in ambulance chasing? And a follow-up question, how to deal with ambulance chasers if somebody I know begins transacting with them? Go ahead, Congressman Salo.
Yeah, they kind of left that part out. I think I'm not expecting that Congressman Salo will answer this properly.
Mo to be represented. But at the same time, kailangan mong pakinggan ano yung ino-offer po nila. So kung suppose sa mga nabanggit po natin ng mga red flags, kung any of those, make sure na huwag kang pipirma, quote-unquote. Huwag kang papayag kasi kapag pumayag ka na doon, pumirma ka na doon, bound ka na doon. And oftentimes, of course, yung mga iba po na naging biktima po nito, mahirapan po sila na umalis doon sa engagement po na yon. Kasi it becomes an engagement na may interest, quote-unquote, dahil may ibinigay na po sa kanila. So, make sure na lumapit mo muna tayo kasi meron din naman pong agencies po natin ng, for example, the OWA, the POW, But at the same time, ulitin po natin, hindi natin inaalis yung karapatan po ng sino man sa mga seafarers po natin to seek legal advice. For example, may mga kamag-anak po kayo na abogado, then you can hear
basically what he's saying, if you choose an ambulance chasing lawyer, it's your risk and your funeral. If the law does not guarantee anything about beyond that.
Legally, quote-unquote. Kasi yung kanilang pangako
Oh my
ng mga
goodness.
part ng scheme ng ambulance chasers, wala kang gagawin. Sisiguraduhin na namin mananalo ka and you get the maximum. Pero, baliktad po, sabi ko nga kanina, sila na yung kukuha po nun. Aabutan ka na lang. Yeah? So, ibig sabihin po nito, siguraduhin po natin na when we deal, basahin po natin maigi. Tingnan po natin ano pa yung nakapaloob doon sa pinipirmahan.
He just basically defined it but did not answer the question directly. That's kind of expected for Philippine lawmakers and lawyers. That's how the way they put things on the situation.
Wala po siyang
So, yeah, if you could rewind this video back, that's what happened here right now.
Yung ship owner ay yung sapat, yung tama, yung maibigay po sa inyo.
Yeah, bullshit.
Alright, thank you very much, Congressman Salo.
If I may add,
go ahead,
tinawin lang natin dahil dun sa sinasabi na yung mga manning agencies ay ayaw magbayad or kaya isipin po natin ang manning agency.
That's exactly what is happening.
Manning agency magbabayad. We have the PNI Club. Over to lahat ng kaso ng
Exactly,
PNI.
that's the insurance,
So,
not the
wala
manning
akong ilalabas
agency.
na pera ang manning agency.
It's their job as an insurance, the
sa amin
PNI. It's their
mga
job to
manning
pay
agency,
the
gusto
insurance
tulungan
claims,
yung mga seafarers
not the manning
natin.
agency. So basically,
Dahil kayo yung
from what they do is that the
sa
manning
inyo
agency
kumikita
is
yung
just
mga
basically
manning
just want to
agency.
avoid that
Kapag
kind of,
deploy sa inyo,
legal
dapat
liability
kayo.
and
So
legal
wala akong manning
fines.
agency na isyo-shortcut kayo, isyo-short change kayo. Dahil hindi naman sa kanila manggagaling yung pangbayad kung merong disability kayo. So, yun ho yung gusto ko lang parating na bago ho kayo
And another thing, this is trust
mag-file
issues
ng-
because this
ng,
guy is
claim or
basically
ng case,
a representative
pag-usap
of
mo
the
muna
ship
yung manning
owner.
agency sa kayo.
So,
Alamin nyo.
basically a
At
manning agency.
tingnan nyo kung
He,
ano
he
yung
does not in
i-offer
any
sa
way
inyo.
represent the workers. So,
Para ho
I
maiwasan
don't
natin
think
yung mahabang
you should
proseso
hold
ng
on
mga-
to this
ng mga
guy's word.
cases.
Just of course, just
Thank you,
a
Captain
personal
Ronald. Sa dagdag po ninyo, RJ,
commentary.
dadagdag ko rin lang. On the
Sure,
other
go
end
ahead.
naman, may mga nagtanong sa akin, bakit pa kakailanganin na maprotektahan, quote-unquote, yung mga seafarers sa ganitong aspeto? Ano ngayon kung
It's
makaklaim ng mas
not there
malaki?
to
Hindi ba
protect.
dapat
I think that's there to discourage
tayo?
seafarers
Yun yung konsepto
from
po nila,
filing
yung tanong
legal
nung
claims
nakaraan.
against
Dahil hindi naman
employers
si
and
manning
ship
agency
owners.
magbabayad.
So,
Hindi
in
naman
other
si
words,
ship
they're
owner
kind of
yung
spinning it
magbabayad.
the
It's
other
the
way around if you think
insurance.
about it.
So, yung
About
problema
what's,
natin, bakit kailangan natin na siguraduhin
you know,
na tama
on what's
eh,
happening
hindi
here
ba
right
mas
now and how
maganda
the way
na
they
mas malaki
described
ang
it.
makuha po ng
It's
seafarer
not
po
about
natin?
seafarers.
From a certain
It's not
perspective,
about
maganda yung
seafarers.
kanilang sinasabi. Pero
It's not about
tatandaan po
protecting
natin,
seafarers. It's
ito po yung
discouraging
mga tinatawag
seafarers
natin na
to
hidden
file
costs
legal
of
disability
employing a
claims.
Filipino. Kasi,
And if they don't
kung
file
ang
legal,
tingin po
legal
nila sa
disability
atin,
claims, basically the ship owner and the manning company doesn't lose money, so it's good for
samantalahan po
them.
natin,
If you think about it,
simply
it
because
basically
it's a
just protects the
insurance
interest of,
scheme,
the ship
pupapasok
owners.
yung negative impression
But of
sa
course,
mga
they're not saying it directly.
Number
They're
two,
saying this one
kahit na insurance scheme po
indirectly.
yan,
That's part of the guy.
yung mga ship owners, sila yung nagbabayad ng premium. So kapag nagkakaroon po ng mga unnecessary claims at maling mga awards, tumataas po yung premium na binabayaran po nila. Kaya yun yung hidden cost.
See,
na
from what
tinatawag
they're
natin.
saying, they're more
At habang
concerned
tumataas
of
po yan,
hidden cost
so yung
and
preference
increasing
po nila
of
to employ a
premiums
Filipino,
rather than
mabawasan.
the welfare and disability
mahalaga na
claims
i-address.
of the seafarer.
Hindi lang dahil porque hindi nang galing sa busa po nila, hindi mo na i-address. Because at the end of the day, sila rin po yung tatamaan ultimately. And
So, in other words, they're more concerned about ship owners. That on that wordings alone, it makes it more clear and obvious that they're more concerned of shipping owners rather than workers.
Ang at stake po dyan is the employment opportunities ng mga kababayan natin.
Thank you very much, Congressman Salo.
Yeah, you're more concerned about
moving on to the next
employment
question.
opportunities, about the other
In cases
seafarers.
where
How about
seafarer
the
pursues
workers
a case
who
against
filed a
the
disability
principal
because he
ship
lost an
owner,
arm? How about
will he
them?
get any
So
financial
that's the thing.
assistance from any government entity it was known to all that the seafarer shall deposit
I'm
some
sure
kind of
anybody
bond
watching this one
to
gets my
pursue
point
his
about
case.
about how
Bakit
things are
kailangan
being spun
mag-post
around
ng
on this
bond?
discussion.
Parang hindi ito maka-seafarer. Any thoughts, Congressman Salo?
Alam po ninyo, napakaganda po ng tanong. Kaya lang nanggagaling po siya sa
He's
maling
making it another flowery
intindi.
words. He's making it pleasantries
Hindi
that
po
make it
niya-
not obvious
I
that
hope na
some
intindihan po
Filipinos
ninyo
are
yung
already
discussion
pissed
po
on that
kanina
part.
Tungkol po doon sa
Come on.
Section 59. Yung bond, kakailanganin lang po yon doon sa mga discretionary or questionable awards. Dalawa po yung award, di po ba? Binanggit ko po kanina. One is uncontested.
That doesn't
or
look like
mandatory award.
that's was it
Pangalawa,
was
ito po
supposed
yung
to mean on the law.
discretionary or
Has
contested
he read the law
Pagdating
again?
po doon sa
It says here that it kind of puts
mandatory
the seafarers
or
on a
statutory
mandatory
or
bond. It
uncontested
means
awards,
whether it's questionable or
immediately
not,
executory
he
po yun.
has
Wala
to
pong
pay the
bond
bond.
yun.
I'm not sure if he's even
Ngayon,
aware
pagdating
on
po
that
dun sa
part
questionable,
on that
paano maging anti-seafarer yun?
on that
When
part of
in
that
fact,
law.
are the ones being protected. Kasi nga,
I don't think that the
discretionary
seafarers
yun,
are being
hindi ka
protected on this one.
sigurado,
I think
Ang
the ship
contested
owners
yung
are
award
the
na yun.
ones being protected
Maaaring
here because they
magbago,
want their money
quote
back and they
unquote.
want
Kadalasan po, sa
guarantees
mga
to get
binanggit
their
po ni,
money back. That's the whole point of it.
President
If the
Gerardo
seafarer
Romeo,
loses the
there's
case,
around
it
$52
means
million na
it
wrongfully
means the
awarded
ship owner
na
wants to
kiniklaim
get
po
his
ngayon
money
ng
back
mga
and they
ship
want to
owners.
assure that they
Ito po
could
yung
get the
mga
money back.
binago yung
That's it.
decision
Plain
or
and simple.
pinalitan, quote unquote, ni-reverse po ng Supreme Court at pinababalik ngayon. So ngayon sino magbabalik nun? Di ba? Yung kwento po natin
Yeah,
kanina,
but that's the
syempre,
concern of
paano
the
mababalik
ship
doon sa
owners. That's not the
seafarer
concern
kung
of the
nakuha na
worker.
po, na-distribute na po yung pera na yun.
Point here is that
Ultimately,
it just makes
pwedeng singilin
guarantees.
mula doon sa mga
They're not
kausap mo.
guaranteeing the seafarer should get the money.
pangalawa,
They're guaranteeing that the
wala
ship
pong financial
owner
assistance
is the
na
one that
bibigay.
should get the money. That's the thing.
Ang sinasabi po natin dito,
But anyway,
financial
like I said,
assistance in
I'm
terms of
just only an
support.
audience here.
Ang
It's because
financial
I keep my
assistance na
mouth
pwedeng
shut
ibigay
and
po
I'm
ng
not.
DMW po natin in
I have my
terms
own
of
channel to
supporting
express
yung
my
pagpo-post
opinions.
mo ng bond. So, may action fund po yung DMW po natin. At inayos na po yung guidance po nito para kung sakaling kakailanganin po na kailangan mo mag-post ng bond, hindi ka bibigyan ng pera ng DMW pero pwede silang magbigay para doon
Okay,
sa
there's
pag-post
another
mo ng
chat
bond.
here that says,
So, direct
bakit gagamitin
doon sa
ang
posting
action
ng bond.
fund
Upon
sa disputed
determination,
claims between
whether
the
you are
seafarers and ship
entitled
owners?
to
Di
be
ba
given
pera
those
ng taxpayers
particular
yun?
support from the government.
Yeah, he's saying why should we use the action fund? That's taxpayers' money. Okay.
Importante nga yung sinabi ni
Of course, the ship owner here is basically making some,
kasi ang
he's making some points here, but mostly his words is mostly spins around to discourage seafarers from filing disability claims.
Sa kanya para maibalik.
They're here that this guy is basically, he's not here to defend Filipino seafarers, he's here to defend the interest of ship owners. I mean, at least from my interpretation here.
Let's say property,
And you can expect him saying a lot of stuff that would defend the ship owners.
Kaya nga yung ban ay napakaayos dahil kung ma-reverse yung decision, may yung banding company ang magbabalik ng pera dun sa ship owner. So ito'y protection para sa ating mga seafarer.
It's not a protection of the seafarers, if you pointed. It's a protection of the ship owners. They want their money back and they want assurance to get their money back. It's not, they're kind of spin it around, but it's very obvious that there are a lot of holes on their words. It's pretty much very obvious at this point.
Nang may lumapit po sa akin at nag-o-offer ng tulong para makapag-demand ng aking benefit sa aking manning agency, kinakabahan po ako pero parang wala naman akong magawa dahil di ako gaanong pinapansin sa agency ko.
Yeah, that's what usually happens. And that it will happen 90% of the time. Because the demanding agency's main function is to protect the interest of ship owners. They're not here to protect you. They're here to protect the ship owners. For you, you're just basically just expendable assets. That's the thing.
So, kung sakaling hindi sila pinapansin nung crewing manager, pwede silang umakyat 1 level up or 2 levels up. Dahil yung mga may-ari ng kumpanya naman ay hindi papayag na maargabyado yung kanilang mga seafarer. So, importante na magkaroon ng pag-uusap. Sumulat kayo or tawagan nyo yung mas nakakataas dun sa kausap nyo. Or minsan kasi, ang nakakausap nila, yung mga staff lang. So hindi sila nabibigyan ng pansin. Pero kung itataas mo yan dun sa mas mataas dun sa kausap mo, ay siguradong papansinin yan dahil ang mga manning agencies ayaw niya ng kwaso. Ayaw niya nang magkaroon ng issue with regards to mga claims.
they don't want cases, of course. Let's be honest. That's the main reason why they discourage seafarers from filing claims and talking to lawyers.
No? So
They don't want their seafarers basically filing
hindi pa rin,
a disability
hindi
claims or
naman
any
kayo
other
approach sa
type of
DMW
legal claims
para
because they're gonna
makuha
lose money.
ng
It's
money
all about
agency.
money if you think
So
about it.
bago kayo, para magkaroon ng dialogo muna, bago magkaroon ng any legal claims, magdialogo muna.
No, that's the main question here. Why would I play your rules if I am the one being violated here on my rights? I should, as a seafarer, you're not the one who's going to play their rules. They're the ones who should play your rules. This is workers' rights. So I think dialogue is basically out of the question on that. The seafarer has the option to have or have not a dialogue. It's up to him if they want to reason or not. But as far as I'm concerned, as a seafarer, he should not play the rules of the manning agency and the ship owners. The ship owner should be the other way. I mean, the situation should be the other way around.
And the ship owner sa mga ganitong issues.
Okay, RJ, I suppose real talk po yan sa mga gumagawa po niyan. Pero hindi naman po powerless po ang manning agency because at the end of the day, may discretion po kayo whether to continue employing that particular seafarer or hindi. For those who are abusing their rights, because definitely signing off due to medical condition is a right of a seafarer. Diniscuss po natin yan noon. Pero hindi mo pwedeng abusuhin yung ganung karapatan. Ngayon, kung umulit-ulit, then definitely the manning agencies are empowered.
But they have to prove first that it's already an abuse. What if the situation is that the seafarer has a complicated medical case that it keeps happening every now and then? He's kind of, his condition. It always flares up.
Trabaho.
Honestly,
trabaho po ninyo, how can you possibly expect na ikaw ay continually to be hired by your manning agency? Siyempre, tatandaan din po natin, it's a free country. Just free kayo whether to continue working with your manning agency, free din po yung manning agency whether to continue employing you. So, it takes two to tango. So, hindi natin pwedeng abusuhin yon. So, of course, definitely, balikan po natin, may discretion yung manning agency.
It takes two to tango, but it depends who's tangoing things.
Thank you very much, Congressman Ronsan. Any addition, Captain Enrile?
Yes, tama yung sabi ni Kong Salo na yung manning agencies may karapatan naman na hindi natanggapin yung isang seafarer kung habitual yung kanilang ginagawa na lagi na lang nagkakasakit kada kontrata. No, so
that's fair enough. The manning agency has its legal right to refuse the employment of the seafarers because seafarers are expendable. Now, as a seafarer, they also have the legal rights not to be employed and choose another employer that will be more favorable on his medical condition. That's the thing. So that's fair enough, I guess.
Maapektuhan yung future employment, lalo na kung paulit-ulit. Kung isa, dalawa, yung pangatlo siguro abuso na yon. No? So kahit yung ating mga ship owner ay magsasabi na ayoko nang magpadala ka ng mga sakitin na Filipino seafarers. So alalahanin natin na tayo ay nakikisakay lang ng barko, nakikikontrata tayo. So dapat masiyahan yung nagbibigay sa atin ng trabaho na hindi natin.
Okay, so from his spilling the words, it's more about pleasing the ship owners, not pleasing the employees or the workers. So that basically clears things up. Okay, right. So you're just basically here to please the employers, not please the workers. So what the hell did why the fuck did they even write this down as Magna Carta for seafarers? It should be Magna Carta for ship owners.
Para magtrabaho sa kanila.
I don't know, I'm just saying here on this part.
Thank you very much, Captain Enrile. And before we finally conclude our question and answer portion of
All right.
the open
We're now
discussion,
moving into the last
any
part.
last thoughts on our this afternoon's topic, Congressman Ronzalo?
Siguro, RJ, if I may isa pong tanong po rito and I wish to provide some insights
Go
dito
ahead,
po sa
Congressman.
nakapost. Sabi niya rito, of course, di ko nababasahin yung buo, pero ang kanyang example dito, for example, let's consider the legal question.
Let me check if I can see it on the...
For example, let's consider the case of Pedro, a Filipino seafarer who filed a case against his employer for 50,000 in unpaid wages and 200,000 in damages. The employer admits owing the 50,000 but disputes the 200,000 damages and files an appeal within the 10-day period. Question. In light of this example and the provision of DO 247, we would appreciate your clarification the following. In Pedro's case, does the employer have to pay the disputed 200,000 damages even if they have filed an appeal within the 10-day period? Yes, the answer is yes. Kung ito yung disputed ito, subject to the posting of a bond. Kung wala pong bond, then there's no basis for releasing or paying that particular amount. If the answer question 1 is yes, how does the automatic stay execution come to effect? Automatically they stay, how does the automatically stayed yun? For as long as wala pang banda ini-issue, then it is stayed. Ngayon, kung nag-issue sila ng bond, then it should be executed. What is the timeline for the seafarer to pay or comply with the bond fee? Yun ang hindi ko pa masyadong nakita kung yung specifically kung ano po yung in-identify ng NLRC or NCMB with respect to the period to issue the bond. So yun lang po, RJ. Thank you.
Very much, Congressman Salo. Captain Enrile, do you want to add on that?
Well, I think nasagot na ng buo ni Kong Salo yung tanong. So, no additional comment.
All right, that concludes our question and answer portion. Thank you very much, Congressman Ron Salo and Captain Ronaldo Enrile.
Okay, right.
Right, at this point, I will now be introducing our last speaker.
Yeah.
Our last speaker is Admin Arnel Ignacio.
Okay, the
Overseas
actor.
Workers Welfare Administration.
All right.
Mr. Arnel Ignacio's
Nice.
career path began in 2015 as the Assistant Vice President for the Community Relations and Services Department of PAGCOR. Before being appointed
Basically,
as the
gambling,
Administrator of Overseas Workers
gambling
Welfare
char
Administration by
before
President
he ended up here
Admin
as
Ignacio assumed key roles with
before he ended up
including Deputy
in the office as
Administrator
head
for
of
Media
the
Public Relations and
Overseas
later for
Workers Welfare
and Fund
Administration.
Management, followed by a stint as Deputy Administrator for Operations. His notable achievements include facilitating the repatriation of OFWs from Kuwait and supporting Filipino seafarers affected by the Ukraine-Russia war. Ignacio's contributions have been recognized through various awards, including the Legacy Icon Awards for Social Responsibility and Business and Profession. Academically, he holds a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science major in Local Government Administration from the University of Makati, as well as undergraduate degrees in Architecture and Music from the University of the Philippines. Before his entry into public service, Ignacio made a mark in the entertainment industry as a television host for GMA, ABS-CBN, and TV5, and also participated in musical plays and films. Admin Arnel's career exemplifies a dedication to service, leadership, and artistic expression, leaving a lasting impact on Philippine society. Although Admin Arnel will not be able to join us live, we will still be hearing from him via a recorded video message. Here is Admin Arnel Ignacio.
Okay.
Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. First, I want to commend Kabayan Party List and our partners for organizing
Okay, it's more like a recorded
series
message.
on the Magna Carta of Filipino Seafarers. The initiative strengthens our commitment to the welfare and protection of our seafarers, who are the backbone of the global maritime industry. Over the years, OWA has actively addressed the challenges faced by our seafarers. We have strengthened our legal assistance program, intensified our fight against ambulance chasing, and enhanced our reintegration services. Through the Seafarers Hub, financial literacy program, and direct legal support, we ensure that our seafarers receive the guidance and assistance they deserve. Pero hindi po natatapos ang ating pagsisikap dito. Patuloy nating pinapalawak at pinapabuti ang ating mga serbisyo upang masigurong ang bawat Pilipino mandaragat ay may proteksyon at oportunidad na makamit ang mas magandang kinabukasan. To all our seafarers, your dedication and sacrifices inspire us to work harder. OWA stands with you today and always. Maraming salamat, mabuhay ang ating mga Pilipino mandaragat at mabuhay ang bagong Pilipinas.
Okay, there we go. That was a nice short message on the
Before I turn
subject.
it over to our Kabayan team, admin team for the photo op, let me just remind everyone for our next episode, our last episode for the series.
Yeah, last
Save the
episode.
date. Let's have a date on Valentine's Day, February 14. Episode 4, we will be tackling about training and education of maritime professionals. Again,
Okay.
thank you for all those
Basically, more
who attended
requirements
today,
instead
and
of
for those
you know improving the labor conditions. It's
media
more like
partners and social
adding
media
more
partners.
burden on the
Crystal,
requirements,
take it over
how
for
to
the
get
photo
to
op.
in the workforce. Okay, I'm just gonna leave.
1, 2, 3.
Tabi ka. Gloves dyan.
Open your cameras po. 1,
Yeah,
2,
this is
3.
that's no longer important because it's just only a photo op. So yeah, before we end this live stream sessions, we're just gonna wrap up for today's live stream. I just want to thank each and every one of you for joining these important discussions of Magna Carta for seafarers. This law represents a major step forward in protecting seafarers' rights, ensuring fair wages, better working conditions, and legal protections. However, as we've discussed, there are still questionable areas that raise concerns. Key points on this is that one of the key points of this is the enforcement implementation. That is a law that is only as good as its execution, and it's still questionable if the government and employers truly uphold these rights or will they find loopholes. Another key point of this that we need to point out on this discussion is the job security and company interest. Some provision seems favorable to employers, which could still leave seafarers vulnerable to unfair dismissals or contract loopholes. And the third point that I'm going to also point out here is the wage and benefits protection. While there are promises of fair pay, will this align with international standards, or are we just still at risk of underpayment and wage theft? And last but not the least, this is of course part of the questionable aspects of the Magna Carta law is the legal assistance and protection. How easy will it be for seafarers to seek justice if their rights are violated? Legal battles at sea are complicated, and we need solid mechanisms to ensure fair treatment. And this Magna Carta law for seafarers is still yet to be tested if this is really effective or not. So, like I said, this is a law that is still a work in progress, and it's up to us seafarers, advocates, and industry professionals to stay vigilant and demand proper implementation. We need to keep the conversation going, hold those in power accountable, and ensure that this law truly serves the people and its workforce as it is meant to protect seafarers. Once again, thank you all for your time, insights, and engagement. If you found this discussion valuable, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that we can continue spreading awareness and fighting for the rights of seafarers worldwide. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, and keep pushing for change. Fair winds and follow the seas to all. So bye-bye for now. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching.